and the final tune-up before the real thing. The Red Sox are in town to face Edwin Jackson and the rest of the Nats on MASN HD.
Washington Nationals baseball.
It is so good to be back home. We're getting ready for 2012. The cherry blossoms in full bloom here in our nation's capital, Nationals Park. The Red Sox are here, and the Nats, we'll see them, of course, during the season. Interleague play. Bob Carpenter, FP Santangelo, good to be back with you, buddy, and good to have all of our friends with us. Now let's talk about some guys who are really glad appears they're going to make the team.
Yeah, they are on the team. And when you go to spring training, you're a non-roster invite. All of a sudden, they tell you you're heading north. So for Chad Tracy, Brett Carroll, Xavier Nady, and Steve Lombardozzi, congratulations to those guys. They're on the ball club. They're going to Chicago tomorrow with us. But one roster spot left, the 25th man between Chad Durbin and Ryan Matthews. We'll find out later today.
Speaking of the bullpen, Drew Storen could be out for a couple of more weeks. But our reporter, Christina Acra, is with a man. And Christina, he knows he has a job this season.
Absolutely. I'm joined now by Brad Lidge, who is a newcomer to the ball club, but a veteran to the game. Brad, what have you seen from this team so far in the time you've spent with them?
Well, I've seen a lot of good things. I've seen, obviously, a ton of talent, but guys that also work hard and ask a lot of good questions, and I think the sky's the limit for this team.
With Drew Storen potentially on the DL starting the season, you're going to see a little bit more action, most likely closing early on in the season. What is that opportunity like for you?
Well, it's exciting. I mean, we all want Drew to get back as fast as possible, but obviously I've had a lot of experience closing, and it's something I love to do. So, hopefully it'll work well for us early in the season. Henry Rodriguez also has been doing a great job. I know he might get in there a little bit too, but I'm real excited for it. And, like I said, we'll do what we can until Drew gets back.
All right, thanks for your time. Coming up next, starting lineups and the first pitch. It's coming your way after the break.
Nationals Park, clear skies, 68 degrees. I tell you what, we'll take this for the home opener in 9 days. Red Sox are hitting .276 this spring, and when you look up and down this lineup, familiar names, David Ortiz right in the middle of it. This is a lineup that is one of the most productive in baseball over the last 5 to 10 years, and FP, no easy outs in there.
No, and that guy playing left field today helped me get a World Series ring. Cody Ross, now Boston Red Sox, having a great spring training.
Edwin Jackson will make his 7th start of the spring. ERA, well, it's too high, 5.48. Couple of wins, 3 losses. And the opponents are hitting .311 against him. FP will have more on the approach and the repertoire in a moment. Here's Jacoby Ellsbury stepping in. And we're underway, run on time at 3:05 outside. Red Sox have scored 150 runs in 30 games. So you can do the math and see they're just knocking in 5 runs a game. That's a little bit off the plate, says the home plate umpire, Chris Siegel. And it's 2-0 to Ellsbury, hitting .255 spring training.
And you talk about the ERA with Jackson, Bob. His last outing was fantastic against the Braves. Gave up 1 run on 2 hits and 6 innings of work. Free and easy, and I think the challenge for him every 5th day is just to go out there and not think too much. Don't try to be mechanical. Just be very athletic. Get in his rhythm, his tempo, his groove, and once he does that, he's tough to hit.
That was a late reaction by Ellsbury.
Yeah, anytime you can see a power pitcher and you got a guy in a hitter's count. So you're heading the count 2-1. You're all systems go looking for a fastball, and you're late. That'll tell you what kind of life the pitcher has.
Red Sox have seen plenty of Jackson over in the American League. That's inside. Boy, what a season Ellsbury had last year. 321, 119 runs, 212 hits, 32 of them left the ballpark, 105 RBIs, and 39 steals. He and Dustin Pedroia stole 65 bases between them. That's playable left side. Mark DeRosa moving to the line. And Mark, of course, will get to know our ballpark very well in a short period of time.
Let's check out the pie chart on Edwin Jackson. You can see what he likes to throw, the percentage of fastballs, slider, changeup, and curve. And fastball averaged 94.5 miles an hour in 2011. So a very colorful chart there today on Edwin Jackson.
Dustin Pedroia hitting .269. Left side, Ryan Zimmerman to his left. So a fly ball to left, a ground ball to the third baseman. And the Nats will now see a former National Leaguer in Adrian Gonzalez, who signed the big contract, came over to play first base for the Red Sox.
Let's check out this chart one more time. Hey, look at the total pitches. 3,240. That's a bad first circle of the year. I covered up the 3, but that is a lot of pitches thrown last year for Edwin Jackson.
Adrian Gonzalez hit .338 for the Red Sox last year with 117 RBIs. Hit 27 home runs. Fenway, depending on the weather, not always the most friendly ballpark for left-handed batters. There are no short home runs unless you pull it around Pesky's pole in right field. And the 0-1 from Edwin, who suddenly, after falling behind Ellsbury, grabs some first inning momentum here.
You talk about peaking at the right time. That was the goal of the pitching staff, the goal of the whole ball club in spring training this year. When you have a veteran ball club like the Nationals, you just want to be doing well right before spring training ends.
Left field in the air, this one headed out of play. The Nationals ERA this spring, 3.60. Now, you would take that during the regular season. I'm sure the guys would like that to be even better. But in this era, any ERA for a ball club starting with the number 3 is considered good.
Yeah, it doesn't matter, though. I mean, when you're going out there in spring training, and today I'm going to work on my changeup, and I'm going to throw my changeup, and I'm going to throw it, and they know it's coming, and I don't care, and I'm trying to get a feel for it. You don't know opposing hitters. You don't have pre-series meetings, so throw out the numbers in spring training. It's all how you're pitching right now.
Danny Espinosa scampers over for that one. And a good 1-2-3 for Edwin Jackson. Here come the Nationals and a lineup that'll look a lot like 48 hours from now at Wrigley Field in Chicago. Desmond Espinosa, Zimmerman, and Ryan's hitting .378. And then it's LaRoche Worth and the big story of the spring, the .438 from Mark DeRosa. Yeah, spring training. Yeah, about the numbers. But, hey, he's 14 for 32. And I know FP loves the fact that he has struck out only 3 times and walked 11 times. So 11 walks to go with 14 hits. And today the Nats will see 27-year-old right-hander Clay Buchholz of Boston.
Yeah, four-seam fastball, cutter, curve change from Buchholz. And fastball being the low to mid-90s. Got a rolling curveball. He'll throw in there in any count. Last time out against Tampa Bay, went 6 innings, allowed 5 runs on 6 hits. Big emphasis on working on his changeup last time out. So a lot like I just talked about with Edwin Jackson. Last time out for Buchholz, he was going to throw his changeup. He was going to work on it. He didn't care about the results. He just wanted to get a good feel for that pitch. Now let's check out the defense for the Red Sox behind Buchholz today. Ross, Ellsbury, and Sweeney in the outfield. Aviles, Youkilis on the left side. Pedroia and Gonzalez on the right side. And Jared Saltalamacchia doing the catching.
Yeah, Aviles over from Kansas City. Ryan Sweeney over from Oakland. And, of course, Gonzalez 2 years ago with San Diego. So the Red Sox have gone out and found some significant players. Ian Desmond hitting .291. He loves to jump on that first fastball. This one's going to be to Cody Ross in left field.
As a leadoff hitter, whenever I swung at the first pitch and made an out, I'd come back to the dugout and about 5 or 6 guys would ask me, what's he got?
Fastball?
Got a fastball.
Bobby Valentine. A lot of years in Japan, championship over there. And now at the helm of the Red Sox, which will make the Yankees-Red Sox thing even more interesting. Of course, Bobby, all those years with the Mets, Texas Rangers. I had a chance to work around him for 4 years in Texas, and I mean, he day-to-day is as intense as they get.
Intense with a smile on his face.
Mm-hmm. Danny Espinosa, his power has shown itself here the last several days. A couple of home runs, 2 RBIs over the weekend.
He went opposite field right-handed and straight away left-handed.
That Paul pulled right side. Gonzalez with a quick flip to Buchholz. 2 outs.
You have a feeling we're not going to have a lot of time to talk about Ian Desmond in the batter's box this year.
You know, I have a feeling, FP, this is just a theory on my part, that we may not have much time to talk about any hitter today.
Well, DeRosa's going to get some airtime. Oh, I see where you're going.
Yeah, this is the time of the year when guys are hacking early, and as far as they're concerned, let's go to Chicago.
Yeah, get out of here safe today. That's
okay. I just want to make sure you knew where I was.
That's the main goal. And there was times, partner, we had speed 'em up rules the last game of spring training.
Speed 'em up rules.
Speed 'em up rules. You get a fine for taking a strike. $50 fine if you take a strike. And that was when you were leaving Florida on those days. You had the plane waiting. You'd been down there for 2 months already. It was uncle on spring training. Let's get out of here. So on both sides, the word spread very quickly. Get up there and hack. Make some outs. Let's get out of here. It's time for games that count.
Ryan's been hacking since his first couple of swings of this spring. 17 for 45. 3 homers, 6 doubles, hitting .378. Adam LaRoche on deck. You might have seen Adam yesterday on Masson in that 15-hour game against the Nationals back in '09. The Nationals, Masson played one of their Nats classics yesterday, the 15-inning last day of the regular season game when Alberto Gonzalez won it with a base hit. There are people in town who moved into their new places, went out for dinner, spent some time with their friends. When they came home, the game was still on. Zimmerman on a 1-2, and he takes it off to the right side. Nats as a team in the spring, 116 runs in 31 games, hitting .250 as a club. Just, I mean, the most ideal conditions you could expect on the Upper Eastern Seaboard for a game in early April, right here today. This is amazing.
Yeah, I've been talking to everybody around the cage today. Save this weather for April 12th against the Reds.
Swing and a miss on a fastball inside. So each pitcher, Jackson and Buchholz, with a 1-2-3 first.
score since Edwin Jackson had such a quick top of the first. We didn't get time to set the defense. Let's set the Nats defense for this last day of spring training. Outfield, Bernardina, DeRosa and Worth, Desmond and Zimmerman on the left side, Espinosa and LaRoche on the right side, and Wilson Ramos doing the catching. And there's Adam LaRoche, talking to him before the game today. He's feeling good, ready to go, in shape, and just happy to be a part of the ball club again.
That smooth glove at first base, moving around well, we are told now, after the foot problems.
I asked him about his slow starts. I said, you know, you get off to slow starts every single season. You've done it so often now. If you look back at all of them, what would you change? What would you do differently this year to get out of the gate quick? And he said, you know, it usually gets to a point where it's just so bad. I'm like, enough of this. And I'm going to start swinging hard. I'm going to try to go deep. And when I try to go deep, I lock my strike zone in. I speed my bat up, and all of a sudden I'm locked in.
Wow.
So I said, any chance of doing that like on opening day this year?
It's in a good ballpark for it.
Yeah. Why
David
not?
Ortiz takes a strike.
But I would think, Bob, and I was a chronic slow starter myself, it becomes more mental than physical.
And you found out we don't put up with that stuff in the booth last year.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Had a tough opening
You
day.
got off to a quick start last year.
No, I had a tough opening day. Article in the paper killing me. It was awful. But then, you know, I started swinging hard, and everything got better after that.
Your strike zone improved greatly with game 2.
It did.
The measure of a man is how he reacts after the adversity.
That's right. And we're looking for big things from Adam LaRoche this year.
David Ortiz, big season last year, 309, 96 RBIs. You saw his spring numbers. High in the air to left field. It'll back up DeRosa just a bit. Mark, with the breeze blowing from the left field corner, will actually come in to grab it. And Edwin Jackson retires 4 in a row to start his day, with Kevin Youkilis coming up. Youkilis, a couple of injury problems last year, only played 120 games. But when healthy, one of the strangest approaches at the plate and one of the most effective approaches at the plate in baseball.
It seems like that right hand climbs up the bat more and more every single season. When he gets in that batter's box, I saw some video from 2006, 2007. His hand wasn't up that high. Watch how high that goes. I mean, it's almost like a bunt stance right now. That comes back down nice and late. And I think hitters do stuff like that, A, because it works, B, it's a routine, and C, I would imagine that it keeps a nice loose grip on the bat.
And D, don't do this at home.
And E, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Right. In the air to short center. Desmond out, Bernardina in, Rogers there. And with Rick Ankiel still nursing that sore leg, and Michael Morse, of course, the back. I talked to Davey Johnson around the cage today, and Davey is just estimating and that's a ball that got him just on the trademark enough, huh?
Yeah, it beat him. And Edwin Jackson's fastball is above average today, without a doubt. 94, 95, and whenever you see good hitters getting beat like that, you know he has late life. And but Davey was saying what?
He thinks it'll be around 3 weeks for Ankiel, Morse, and, for that matter, Drew Storen. So the Nats may go into about the 25th of April or so before they have their team together, their entire ball club, as planned.
Meanwhile, opportunity for other guys.
Yeah.
And I think if you're, Chad Tracy or Xavier Nady or, the guys that made the team, Brett Carroll, you can't think about stuff like that. You have to go out and take it day by day, do what you can do to help the ball club win baseball games, and let the rest take care of itself.
Ryan Sweeney hits that ball well. Not well enough to elude that Greyhound out there in center field. 3 fly balls, and now 6 in a row for Jackson. Next week, the Nats will be in the middle of a series in New York, but we'll be looking forward to opening weekend at home. Natitude opening weekend presented by the Washington Post. Thursday, first 20,000 fans receive an opening day cap presented by Geico. Opening night Friday, first 15,000, the Natitude t-shirt from 106.7 The Fan. Saturday, first 15,000, the Steven Strasburg bobblehead from PNC Bank. Jackie Robinson Day on Sunday the 15th. Nationals.com/opening. And the Nats will have a very worthy opponent as Joey Votto and the Cincinnati Reds will be here to open the season. Interesting, the Nats open the road season against the Central and the home season, Chicago and Cincinnati respectively. In fact, the Nats will go to the West Coast and see San Diego and L.A. before we go to New York, Philadelphia, Atlanta, or Florida. Miami, that is. And here's Adam LaRoche against Clay Buchholz for the bottom of the second. Adams only had 20 official at-bats, but FP has well documented what he did in spring training, going over to the minor league complex and some days getting double-digit at-bats just to see live pitching. That one on the ground to Dustin Pedroia.
You think Joey Votto's happy today? 10 years, $225 million.
And that's U.S. He's from Canada.
That's like a cajillion in Canada.
But you know what? Good for him. He's one of the good guys. You know, even though you play against him and you want to beat him, you respect him and you like the way he goes about his business. A very deserving MVP 2 years ago, and I'm sure that Cincinnati ball club's hungry to get back, but they've got some injury issues right now.
And congratulations to Matt Cain as well. One of the first guys I ever coached in the minor leagues for the Giants, and he is set.
So 5 years for him, right? Well over $100 million.
Yeah, couldn't happen to a nicer guy. A great father, a great husband, and a great teammate.
Worth goes up swinging first pitch, and Pedroia is going to yield for that one to Ryan Sweeney. 2 outs.
Speed him up rules in effect.
Well, we really haven't talked about this too much because we were so concerned keeping tracks of names and numbers in Florida. But as you look at the divisions, I mean, who do you like? You know, out in the West, you know the West better than most of us do. And are the Giants back with Buster Posey healthy all year? I mean, are they the best team out there if they're healthy?
It's hard for me to say this, but I think the Dodgers are the best team in that division.
Well,
and all the talent they have, and you know, guys coming into their own. I think Matt Kemp is the best player in the National League, period. Maybe the best player in baseball talent-wise. You have a Cy Young Award winner in Clayton Kershaw, and all the surrounding parts. I think Don Mattingly is only going to get better with more experience as a manager, and you know, with the new ownership group coming in there and a lot of money to be spent, I think it's only a matter of time before the Dodgers are the Dodgers they used to be, sort of like the Yankees of the West.
Yeah. Can't keep a franchise like that down for long. And I think the transfer and ownership will be a huge psychological boost for everybody out there. Just don't challenge them to a pickup basketball game with Matt Kemp and Magic Johnson. I don't know if Stan Kasten can play, but I know those two guys can.
I'll guard Stan.
Buchholz has a 1-2 count on Mark DeRosa, who's been amazing this spring. 14 for 32. Game-winning RBI against St. Louis on Sunday in the 9th inning. And, of course, he went the other way for that hit. Hitting right in front of Xavier Nady, who's getting to DH here. And, of course, Xavier did that in some of his American League days. And I think Mark DeRosa could be one of the most eye-opening players in the National League this year. Healthy for the first time probably in at least 3 years. There's no limit to what this guy could do for this ball club.
I couldn't agree with you more.
And if you throw it inside, he'll pull it. Shortstop Mike Aviles with the backhand. And everybody's perfect on the mound so far. Over by the Tidal Basin, it's a beautiful Tuesday, early April. Dodgers, Rays, Tigers, Diamondbacks, White Sox, St. Louis, and now Washington. FP, back to June of 2010.
Yeah, you look at the stuff. I think he had 9 walks in that game. I'm not sure about it, but a no-hitter's a no-hitter, and you see the fastball right there just absolutely exploding into the strike zone. That's got to be a good feeling, getting the last out of a no-hitter, and all his Diamondback teammates showing some love.
You know, I'm just wondering, watching that video of them playing at Tampa Bay, is that the only no-hitter thrown in interleague play? I can't think of any others.
Well, nothing says interleague play like Rays D-backs. I'll tell you that. That is a rivalry for the ages.
Nothing says interleague like a no-hitter with 9 walks. Cody Ross, Jared Saltalamacchia, and Micah Vilas for the Red Sox here in the top of the 3rd. Cody Ross hitting .372 this spring, looking to recapture some of his magic of the second half of 2010 when he really was a spark plug for those Giants. Not on that pitch, and Jackson gets his first K of the day.
Started him off with a slider. Cody Ross, first pitch fastball guy. And look at the paint right there on the fastball. On the black away, Ross thinking about a fastball in. Couldn't pull the trigger. That's just a perfect pitch.
Saltalamacchia now, who's made stops in Atlanta and Texas. We remember several years ago he came up as one of the hot Atlanta catching prospects, but Mr. McCann has that position well taken care of for a number of years now.
He can hit. Every time you say Brian McCann's name, I'm just going to follow it with he can hit. The rest of the year, period.
Yes, he can. Left field. Busy day over there. Desmond out, DeRosa in, Ian's under it.
I think that pitch right there to Saltalamacchia is a good example of the fastball that Edwin Jackson is sporting today. We've seen a lot of the Red Sox hitters late. And I'm telling you what, folks, this is the time of year as a hitter that you want to be locked in. It's all systems go. Your timing is right. You've been down in Florida for however long working on things. And right now, if you're late on a fastball, that tells me a few things. Number one, the guy on the mound's got a good one. And number two, it's got late life. You look at the counts that these guys are late in, and this is a good hitting team. The Boston Red Sox always known for their offense. And when you're in a hitter's count 1-0, 2-0, 2-1, and you're late on a guy's fastball, meaning I'm sitting on that pitch, and you're late, big league hitters usually don't miss that. So that is a good sign from Edwin Jackson, who retired 16 of the last 17 batters he faced his last outing against the Braves.
Was Brian McCann in that lineup?
Nope. And that was a good slider right there, too. You try to wait till we play the Braves.
Okay. They're not coming here till June, by the way, with Brian McCann.
He can hit.
1 ball and 2 strikes to Micah Vilas, who hit .222 at Kansas City last year. He's had a good spring for the Red Sox. Under .290, barely, with 6 RBIs. Micah Vilas from New York City. And that little tapper in the air over to Zimmerman. How about the first time through the lineup for Edwin Jackson? Nats are still looking for their first base hit. Third inning, Nady, Ramos, and Bernardina. And, of course, Steven Strasburg gets the honor. Christina pitching opening day in Chicago. I know he's looking forward to that with a bunch of guys he's really enjoying.
Absolutely, Bob. And as he gets ready for his first opening day start of his career, he also mentioned today how it's been nice to just have a normal start to the season and what it's been like around the clubhouse for him.
You know, I just remember in college, kind of the camaraderie they have just with the starters and the pitching staff, and it's amazing, you know, how much chemistry we have here. I mean, you know, just one spring training, all the new guys in here, it feels like they've been here forever.
And manager Davey Johnson reiterated that the makeup of this team is what he says is off the charts, and combined with the evident ability, that's what's going to lead to this club's success this season.
Well, a lot of it starts in that clubhouse. Thank you. And then it continues between the lines. And here's a guy that Davey Johnson can't stop talking about, Xavier Nady. Davey really wanted Chad Tracy in the lineup today to get some at-bats against a right-hander, but he said, I've got to get Xavier Nady as many ABs as I can before opening day because he got started so late. So here he is in his 6th game. 5 out of 18 with an RBI, hitting .278.
I walked up to him today and said, congratulations. And he said, can you believe it? Sitting home in San Diego, phone rings, go to spring training for a minute, and you're on a big league ball club. And done well so far for the Nationals.
Well, he kept himself in shape. That's what everybody said. He worked really hard out there during that time of uncertainty. And, you know, you think about some other players for whom the bell hasn't tolled this spring. I mean, you know, we've been thinking about Pudge Rodriguez and some other guys having hard times getting jobs. You hope something happens somewhere that enables them to get in there, especially a guy like Pudge. Sharply hit. That was caught on the fly. A good reaction by Clay Buchholz on a ball that was labeled up the middle.
Let's check it out, real speed. Xavier Nady barreling this ball up. Has a little bit of topspin to it. You see it right there. Comes right into the glove of Clay Buchholz. I like the way Buchholz charged that line drive right there. You don't want to sit on those. You want to be on your toes and charge them. Nice job.
Easier for you to say up here. Here's Wilson Ramos. 9 hits, 4 RBIs on the spring. This is going to be really interesting to watch the production from the bottom part of the order. Ramos at the 7th spot, whoever's 8th. You know, today it's Bernardina, although he's actually 9th because of the DH. But if Ramos does what we think he is capable of doing, the bottom of this order could really contribute from a power standpoint as well as just scoring runs.
I think when you talk about Roger Bernardina standing on deck right now, he very well may be the center fielder opening day. Davey Johnson said that he was leaning that way. You know, he reserves the right to change his mind, but you know, Bernardina will be in center, probably hitting 8th.
And the fact that Nats are facing a right-hander, if they're facing a lefty, maybe Nady would be out there with DeRosa and Worth could be in center. But against a right-handed pitcher, Ryan Dempster, Bernardina may get the nod. Had him reaching on that one. Little fly ball for Ryan Sweeney. That's 8 in a row for Clay Buchholz. We'd like you to ignite your natitude with Nationals tickets. Single game tickets starting as low as $10. Go to nationals.com/tickets. Check it out. And when you have the opportunity, come and join us at the ballpark.
You know, spring training, so I can say this.
Okay.
Double perfect game going right now.
Hard to jinx a guy who's going to be in the clubhouse by the 6th inning.
Doing interviews or jogging on the warning track. So, yeah, double perfect game.
Okay. I like it. Youkilis on the grass at 3rd. I think this will be interesting, too, if a guy like Bernardina bats 8th. He puts some pressure on the defense. Let's say there's 2 outs and the base is empty, like there is right now. He might just bump a ground ball by somebody, keep an inning alive, and give the pitcher a chance to get up there. You know how valuable number 8 hitters can be. This will be Gonzalez to Buchholz. Double perfect game, and I'm quoting F.P. Santangelo. No score, top of the fourth coming up. We're going from one great ballpark to another. Nationals Park, in 48 hours from now, it's on to the Windy City of Chicago. Wrigley Field opened in 1914. The Cubs started playing there in 1916. They get to look at Steven Strasburg coming up on Thursday. Ryan Dempster for the Cubbies, and we will be there with you. 2 o'clock, Nats Extra before and after the ball game. And, of course, you know they put lights on Wrigley in 1988, and the first game was rained out. The baseball gods were not pleased. We will play 3 day games there, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday. And then a day game out of the 3 in New York. So a lot of day baseball to start things off.
Which is good, because as a player in spring training, you're playing day games.
Yeah.
One of the hardest adjustment for me was, you get up at 6 o'clock, you're at the yard 7:30, you work out all morning, you play a day game, and you get on that schedule. Then all of a sudden it's night games, and it's tough for the body to adjust no matter what time zone you're in, and you do go to different time zones, so that part's hard. But as a player, to me, the biggest adjustment in April was always getting used to sleeping in a little bit, getting into the night routine, getting into the vampire routine, to where you're up till 2 in the morning every night after the game, because it takes time to wind down, and then you sleep into the afternoon, and then you get in the night slot. But that's good for the Nationals if they start out playing a lot of day games. It won't be a biggest shock to the system.
Yeah, and then counting opening day here, that'll be 5 of the first 7 games during the day. And then day games Saturday and Sunday as well. So that'll be 7 of the first 10 games will be day games for the Nats.
And Friday off, which is very dangerous.
In Chicago?
Yes. Thursday day, opening day. Like I told you, I've had an opening day in Chicago. It's Mardi Gras meets New Year's Eve. Especially outside the ballpark in Wrigleyville. It'll be fun. Great atmosphere.
2-2 to Ellsbury. Who flied to DeRosa first time, and that was just off the corner. You saw Pedroia, who's coming up next, and then Adrian Gonzalez here, top of the 4th. Red Sox were here 2 years ago for Interleague. They beat the Nats 2 out of 3. Ballpark was full all 3 nights. Swing and a foul tip.
See, that's a good pitch right there from Edwin Jackson. 3-2 count, a guy that's got some pop. He's thinking dead red. I'm going to get a 3-2 fastball. And when you face Edwin Jackson, you're thinking about 95, 96, 97 miles an hour. And then all of a sudden, you get a 3-2 slider. And watch how late this slider is. Fastball all the way. Nope. Bottom drops out of it. So if he can throw 3-2 sliders for strikes, or make them appear to be strikes, that's nice.
That ball ripped, and now there's a base hit. To Hopper, to DeRosa, and Jacoby Ellsbury is aboard.
Well, you jinxed it going to break right there. That was your fault.
I have been a jinx forever. Just ask somebody. All right, Dustin Pedroia now, and I remarked earlier, these 2 guys stole 65 bases between them last year. Red Sox have already stolen 33 bases in the spring, but speed is a lot more than just stealing bases. It's hitting and running. It's having this guy aboard with this guy in the batter's box. You can do so many things with this 1-2 combo here.
I think the biggest thing for speed, or the biggest luxury of having speed, is going first to third on base hits. And you don't have to be the fastest guy in the world as a base runner on first. You just have to do a little bit of pre-pitch preparation. You look where your outfield is. Judge the speed of the hit. Know the outfield arms. Will Clark was one of the best base runners I ever saw. And he wasn't the fastest guy in the world. He just did a lot of homework on first base, read balls well. And I think, the obvious things for speed is you're thinking about stealing bases. And going first to third, for me, very, very important part of baseball.
1 ball and no strikes to Pedroia. Bounced out to Zimmerman first time. I remember a conversation I had years ago when he was coaching third base for the Astros. And that's Virginia native Mike Cubbage. And he said exactly what you did. He said, everybody talks about stolen bases and all that. He said the strength of our ball clubs here in Houston, and this is when they were really good with Bagwell and Biggio and those guys. He said, we go first to third better than any team in baseball. That's what puts pressure on the other team's defense and the pitchers. When you've got a guy sitting over there at third base with less than 2 outs.
Yep. And it's not up to the third base coach. I think maybe a lot of people watching at home think, well, doesn't the third base coach wave the FP? No, that's on your own. As a major league base runner, you should know, especially when the play's behind you, you can go to third. I mean, there's certain times ball down the line, but if it's down the line, I can go to third base. But you're your own base coach. Good base runners are their own base coaches. And I think what a third base coach does maybe reaffirms your decision. But to me, the best base runners, A, did a lot of homework. B, were fearless. They weren't afraid to make mistakes on the bases. And if you can get base runners to buy into, hey, if I get thrown out being aggressive, my manager's not going to sit me on the bench. I might even get a high five coming back to the dugout. That's how you breed good base running in the organization.
That ball ripped into the corner. Ellsbury off to the races. Jerry Royster's their third base coach. He'll wave him home. Desmond's relay is late, and the Red Sox, with that 1-2 combination, take the lead.
Dustin Pedroia, one of the better players in the American League. I know there's a big debate between who's the better second baseman, Robinson Cano or Dustin Pedroia. I'll take Pedroia on my team any day. Love the way the guy plays, and you see the swing right there. Not afraid to let it go. A little guy that swings hard all the time. Did a nice job of getting on top of that ball. 1-0 Red Sox.
Well, his record speaks for itself. An MVP, 91 RBIs last year. Guy in front of him drove in 105, if you can believe that, for a leadoff guy. Here's Adrian Gonzalez.
My opinion on that's a little biased, by the way. Dustin is from Northern California.
I see similarities between you and him.
Close. Yeah.
You're much better looking, but he can hit the ball for a lot of power.
Partner, it stops at size if you want to do the similarities between us, because that guy's some kind of ball player.
In the dirt, smothered by Ramos. That guy is the engine that makes this team go.
He does. You know, all the way around, too, not just offensively. You turn a double play, plays second base as good as anybody. Heart and soul of that ball club.
It's the beauty of baseball. A guy who's 5'9", 180 can be a superstar.
And they got a couple of little guys. You talk about Cody Ross. He's not that big. Dustin Pedroia not that big. And they both got some serious sock. Some pop in their bats.
Ellsbury, a veritable giant at 6'1", 185. But they've got some big boys behind him. Gonzalez and Ortiz and Youkilis. Red Sox have a new general manager, of course, Ben Cherington, who takes over with Theo Epstein in Chicago. Late swing there. Jackson plenty of giddy up. And the count's 1-2. Tampa Bay is the team that has really made that American League East what it is. I mean, a two-horse race, yeah, that's nice every year, but you get somebody else to really elevate their game like the Rays have over the last half dozen years.
I like the Blue Jays this year.
They're going to be good. Yeah, the Nats interleague schedule, I don't really hear many people talking about this. The interleague schedule is not going to do our ball club any favors. You're going to Boston and Toronto to play 6 games, and you got the Rays and the Yankees coming in here. That's 12 games against superior ball clubs, and then you hope to have the edge over the O's when that home and home takes place. So you're talking about 18 interleague games this year.
You know what I always say, right? Bring them on.
Yeah. I was going to say Brian McCann can hit, but evidently you had a different answer.
No, bring them on.
Yeah. Hey, you want to play the best, you want to beat the best.
If you're going to go to the next level and you're going to be good, bring them on. You can't be scared of anybody. You can't be scared of your schedule, and I don't think anybody in a Nats uniform is.
Ball with some carry on it to left. Now Pedroia is back at the bag to tag. And he's going to challenge Mark DeRosa, who makes a good throw, but no chance. So that runner's at third base with 1 out. Good read by Pedroia. He knew right away the ball would be caught. None of this halfway stuff. He went straight back to the bag.
Well, as a base runner with nobody out, your main goal is to get to third with 1 out. With 1 out, you're halfway. With no outs, you go back and tag. And Gonzalez hit that ball deep enough to give Dustin Pedroia a chance. DeRosa did a nice job of getting behind that ball, made a good throw, but the speed of Pedroia beat it. That's heads-up base running. Little things like that. I mean, you see the big things with Dustin Pedroia, the average, the homers, the Gold Glove defense, but little things like that, I think, are what makes him such a good baseball player, all-around baseball player.
Well, there's the shift. And Espinosa playing deep. David Ortiz collects an easy RBI, and the Red Sox lead 2-0. You know it's getting closer to opening day when you start seeing shifts in spring training games. That'll bring in Kevin Youkilis. Flied to right first time up.
A different bat this time. He had a black bat his first time. Maybe going to a lighter model because he got beat on a fastball. And we were talking about the swing last time. And Jackson threw him a fastball. I think he was in a 1-0 count. A little bit late. He got beat. Either broke the bat or decided to go to a lighter model.
How many different weights of bat would a major leaguer have?
2 or 3. I mean, generally speaking, you have your go-to bat. It's your baby. It's the one you used all the way up in the minor leagues. And the ounces, whether it be 31, 32, or 33, you generally stay with that. I've seen big power guys like Jason Giambi go from 33 ounces to 31 ounces late in the season.
He's not going to like that call. Rookie umpire Chris Siegel ringing up Kevin Youkilis. Red Sox a couple of hits and a couple of runs. They lead 2-0 after 3.5 on a picture-perfect postcard of a day in Washington. It's a new year. Teddy way behind. The other three go down in the right field corner, and Teddy is going to cruise to victory. Or is he?
Was that the Easter Bunny I saw down the right field line? Because that was a poor effort if that was the Easter Bunny.
What are we doing with jugglers on the field?
Spring training.
Teddy told us before the game, spring training statistics don't mean a thing. I'm feeling really well. Bottom of the fourth, top of the order for the Nats, who suddenly trail 2-0.
Teddy's going to win this year.
I think on a September night,
yes,
when the magic number is 1,
yes,
and the Nats are up like 8-0 in the third inning,
I am so in.
That would be the time. A strike to Desmond, who sees his second pitch of the game. Flight out on the first one to left field, bottom of the first. Ian, though, having a good spring, hitting around 290. Got off to a slow start. He had a 3-hit game here on Masson 2 weeks ago, and that seemed to finally get him going.
Masson or the 3-hit game?
Both.
Sweet. Well, I know
if you have a 3-hit game on Masson, you'll be hearing from people all over the region, if not the country.
I like his stance a little more upright this year. Talk about how he's looking to drive the ball early in the count. I mean, we've talked about it at length already this spring. Not the prototypical leadoff hitter.
All right, so let's watch him on 0-2 here.
He's just going to go up hacking, trying to drive the baseball, not looking for a walk, not looking to take pitches.
Not really the kind of guy who's going to choke up on a 2-strike count.
I think that's what Davey wants. He wants him to be aggressive, get the head out, look to pull the ball early in the count, and fight it off, go the other way late.
2-2 now.
I think a lot of times last year, early in the season especially, Ian Desmond talked about it in the fine article that Adam Kilgore wrote in the Washington Post the other day about how early in the year last year he was just trying to stick. He was struggling in April. He was making errors, wasn't getting hits, and he felt like he just wanted to be a big leaguer. And now, you know, he's arrived. He's a big leaguer. He doesn't have to worry about getting sent down anymore. He's the starting shortstop, the leadoff hitter. And he doesn't think about that anymore. He just looks at himself as, hey, I'm a big leaguer. I'm not looking back. I'm a leadoff hitter and shortstop for the Nationals. And personally, partner, I think he's going to have a big year.
We'd love nothing more for that guy in the leadoff spot to do just that. Danny Espinosa bounced out to the first baseman Gonzalez first time. So that's 10 straight by Clay Buchholz to start the game. And it's not going to get any easier here after a 3:05 start with the shadows creeping from the third base side very soon. Hitting conditions will be changing here, and if anything, getting tougher.
Yeah, how many 3 o'clock starts did we have last year? That threw me off today. I was wondering, what time do I leave for the yard? What time do I get in the car? What time is BP? And I don't think we had any. Fish out of water today. Trying to figure out when to get to the yard.
Yeah. Red Sox go to Detroit and Toronto to open their season. So you know who they're staring at Thursday afternoon. Justin Verlander against John Lester. Beckett goes against Doug Fister, scheduled on Friday, and then Clay Buchholz Saturday against Max Scherzer. And I'll tell you what will really be interesting is next year at this time, when we're talking about the start of the season, when there will be an interleague game on opening day and every day of the season with 15 teams in each league after Houston makes its move.
Let's just hope it's Diamondbacks versus Rays on opening day.
You just can't put a value on that. That's priceless.
I'm going on StubHub right now to buy those tickets.
2 balls and 2 strikes. That's a foul tip, and Danny manages to stay alive. Rookies who went deep last year, Danny and Freddie Freeman. And then Wilson Ramos on that list.
You're not bad when you got 2 of the top 3. And for Danny Espinosa, if you ask him, he would have said he should have hit more. Got off to that good start, hit a lull during the middle part of the season. And we talked about it probably, I don't know, 2 or 3 broadcasts ago about how he felt like he worked too hard last year. And a lot of times,
yeah,
as a player, you kind of work yourself into a slump. He felt like as a rookie that he had to prove that, you know, he couldn't miss early hitting, he couldn't miss early ground balls. He didn't want people to think he wasn't a hard worker. He wanted to establish himself amongst his peers and his teammates in that clubhouse and show them all what a hard worker he was. And you know, I don't know how many times you and I walked by him in the clubhouse just dripping wet with sweat, and that took a toll on him. Kind of fizzled out last year where he said he's not going to do the same things this year.
3-2, and Danny hangs tough. It'll be a long time before we forget the September he had when he was first called up in 2010. It was just unbelievable what he did. Home runs all over the place, this park, on the road, Pittsburgh. Got Zach Duke for his first big league homer, opposite field there in Pittsburgh. 3-2, and it's by him. Strikeout number 3 for Clay Buchholz, who's trying to make it a dirty dozen against Ryan Zimmerman now as we approach the 4 o'clock hour here at Nationals Park in Washington, D.C. Good to be home here on MASN. We'll look forward to being back here a week from Thursday. Bob FP, and we welcome Christina Ekra as our reporter here at the ballpark today, and on to Chicago. The Nats will fly in the afternoon tomorrow. Zimmerman, strikeout victim number 1 back in the first. That's a busted bat. And that's 4 perfect innings for Clay Buchholz. And the guy's averaging like 10 pitches per inning so far. 2-0 Sox. A whole lot to talk about except effective pitching. Jackson good, Buchholz better, and then it's Ellsbury and Pedroia teaming up to score those 2 runs.
Yeah, Edwin Jackson has been awesome so far today. Fastball's been electric. And you see the command, the control right there. Wilson Ramos not moving his glove a bit. And how about Clay Buchholz? Same way. Hitting the spots, pretty good fastball. Fielding his position well, and we joked about a double perfect game, but there still is one going. A little spring training perfecto so far from Clay Buchholz.
Ryan Sweeney leads off, 5th inning. Sweeney 265 and a homer, 25 RBIs for Oakland last year.
And when you think about Edwin Jackson, we've been talking about already, you think about that power fastball. And Bob, you and I have talked about it all spring training long. The strength of the national staff is the power and the fastballs.
Bernardino on the run, makes it look easy for the first out in the 5th.
I mean, if you're facing these guys this year, I mean, as a hitter back in the 90s, you used to go in and face all the power pitchers with the Braves, the guys that threw hard. And you're looking at that guy right there. The last game we did, Ross Detweiler against the Marlins. I mean, he went against the Marlins A lineup, Hanley Ramirez, all the guys that they went out and got this year. And he was throwing 95, 96, cut right through that lineup. And he's going to be the long reliever for the Nats, it looks like. But for me, Bob, I still have a hard time with a young guy that's a prospect, a #1 guy. And we've talked about the battle for that 5th spot all spring training as well. Yeah. Chen-Ming Wang got hurt, John Lannon, Ross Detweiler. And he's having a tough adjustment getting into that bullpen, getting into routine. And when you have a young guy who's a prospect, a guy that throws hard, a guy that's a power pitcher, for me, I feel like he's got to start. I mean, he's got the stuff. He's got the command. We fell in love with him last year when he started those games. Yeah. And he's a slave to the routine and been having a little bit of trouble in the bullpen. But we were very, very impressed with what we saw from Ross Detweiler last year and the game we did against the Marlins. He went right through those guys.
And, of course, the irony to the whole thing is you hope he's in a role where you don't see him very often. No knock on Ross. You just don't want your long relief guy having to pitch a whole lot during the season.
Well, no knock on the other 2 guys. But for me, it's hard to keep a guy that throws 96 out of there. I mean, you got 4 guys that are power pitchers. John Lannon's a great pitcher. Chen-Ming Wang, a great pitcher. But when you have 4 guys that throw cheese, how about having a 5th guy that throws cheese 95, 96 miles an hour?
Yeah. Power arms. Stan Kasten used to talk about it several years ago, and then Mike Rizzo and Stan and the whole organization through the draft and other acquisitions, providing that basis for this ball club where you cannot have too many arms and power arms preferred. The blueprint for all that success over the years in Atlanta.
I mean, you just can't go out there brain dead chucking, just because you throw 95, 96. You can't not hit your spots. It'll let you get away with a little bit more within the frame of the strike zone if you have pitches of that velocity. And as a hitter, you got to start a little bit earlier. But you got guys that throw hard, hit their spots, have good secondary pitches, good makeup. All that stuff goes into a good rotation. And I feel like they're going to have to do what everybody thinks they can do in order for the Nationals to win. The pressure's on the starting rotation. They got to do their thing. And I think they will.
Three balls and no strikes to Jared Saltalamacchia, hitting .235. Now that's 2 on 1 out with a walk to the number 8 hitter. By the way, our guys and gals down in the truck doing some spot on research for us and coming up with Justin Verlander's no-hitter against the Brewers back in '07 interleague play. So it has happened more than once. Number 9 hitter, shortstop Mike Aviles. Fouled out to Zimmerman first time. And a bunt. That's fair. Ramos was going to throw to third, dropped the ball. The hitter stopped running, and that'll be a 2-3 putout to move up the runners with 2 down. I think Wilson had designs FP on a 2-5-3 double play.
He just peaked a little bit early. Aviles going for the base hit bunt. never a big fan of the base hit bunt with runners in scoring position. You got runners on first and second. I like my guys to drive in those runs or try to drive in the runs. First and second, nobody out, a good play, but first and second, one out. I'm wondering if Bobby Valentine might say something.
Top of the order now, Jacoby Ellsbury.
Maybe working on stuff too. It's still spring training, so maybe working on the base hit bunt. But if that's regular season, I like my guys hacking.
Oh, you got 2 shots. Now you have 1. Ellsbury got the rally going with a leadoff single last inning, and then Pedroia doubled him in before David Ortiz grounded out, driving in Pedroia, who had moved to third on a fly ball. 2-0. Edwin Jackson this spring, 2-3, 7th start. Nearly 5.5 ERA coming into this one. With the runners both in scoring position and 2 outs, he works from the full windup. Way down the line comes Cody Ross, forcing a step off, and now he'll go to the stretch. He was in his full windup position.
If you walk down there as a base runner on third base and you get to a certain point and the pitcher's in the windup and he hasn't looked at you, you can steal home.
That's not going to be necessary. Cody Ross scores. Saltalamacchia, a catcher, will be held at third, and the Red Sox will lead 3-0. And suddenly Ellsbury 2 for 3. As we mentioned earlier, a leadoff man who knows how to drive in runs.
Well, I think a leadoff man should know how to drive in runs, especially in the National League when pitchers are butting guys over for you. There's a lot of opportunity, but in the American League with 9 hitters, there's always opportunity. And you see Ellsbury taking advantage. 2nd hit of the day. Feeling good going into opening day.
So 2 hits, a walk in between. And Steve McCaddy to the mound to talk to Edwin Jackson. Sean Burnett also scheduled today to pitch from the left side. At least they're available. John Lannon and Ross Detweiler. Right-handers listed on the card were Craig Stammen and Henry Rodriguez. I think one of the interesting things to watch in the first 3 weeks of the season will be, and maybe even after Drew Storen comes back for the first week or so, who does Davey go with to close a ball game? Brad Lidge, Henry Rodriguez, who had 4 saves in Florida. Henry, when he harnesses that control, is so dominating.
And he's had a wonderful spring training.
Interesting calls ahead for the skipper.
I would think early on you go with the experience, and then you maybe give Henry some chances down the road a little bit. But if I'm Davey Johnson, I'm thinking about early in the season how amped up guys get to start a season out. I would go with the guy that's standing on the mound for the last out of a World Series maybe earlier in the season, then go with Henry Rodriguez later, and then hopefully Drew Storen. Those are 3 pretty good options to have.
Ball getting away. Advancement by the runner to second, Ellsbury, but Saltalamacchia held at third by Jerry Royster. Now a base hit could make it a 5-0 game. Pedroia has driven in 8 runs this spring. Jackson keeps that ball down and away from him.
Well, with first base open and 2 outs, believe it or not, Dustin Pedroia is the guy you want. You got the right-on-right matchup. You got Gonzalez on deck, and there's no easy outs in this Boston lineup. And I think you're getting a good taste of what it's like to pitch in the American League right now. They just keep coming at you. There's no breaks, and 1 through 9 guys can rake.
1-2 pitch. Jammed in. And Pedroia able to fight that ball off. Grandstand creeping, those shadows, the light standards just before that. Beautiful, beautiful baseball day.
Perfect.
68 degrees at game time.
Pretty good crowd too, huh? Spring training crowd. I didn't know what to expect today.
Yeah.
This place is almost full.
I'd say we've got 25, 26 or so thousand. Yeah, great crowd. This place will be jumping in 9 days. Don't forget about all the great giveaways for the opening weekend. The ball caps, the bobbleheads. Strasburg bobblehead day on Saturday. And a 1-2 from Jackson. Drilled right field. Worth is in trouble on this one. And it's over his head. It is 5-0 Red Sox. Dustin Pedroia now has 3 RBIs.
And that's a guy that's going to play the same whether it's a spring training game or Game 7 of the World Series. And just taking what Edwin Jackson gave him right there. A fastball up and away. And he likes the ball up. Usually little guys like the ball down, but with Dustin Pedroia's swing, he's able to get on top of that and drive the ball the other way, and that's going to be it for Edwin Jackson.
Jackson, 3 perfect innings, 2 runs on 2 hits in the 4th, 3 more on 3 hits and a walk here in the 5th. So the Red Sox take command, and the Nats are into their bullpen. It's a good hitting Boston ball club. 5 runs on 5 hits. You walk them, you give them another base runner, and they take advantage. So Edwin Jackson learns that again about a good hitting Boston team.
Yeah, started to get a little tired there at the end. Got the ball up. The Red Sox taking advantage of it. But like I said, when you're facing an American League club, and Edwin Jackson has before, no breaks in the lineup, and you're seeing the effects right now. Good production. 5 runs on 5 hits for the Sox.
I think maybe one of the things that concerns me, and I would assume others, about the Nats going into the season is that with Michael Morse unavailable for a while, how does the offense go? There were times last year when the Nationals were kind of an all-or-nothing offensive team. Without Michael Morse, they might have been around the bottom of the league in every offensive category. So there will need to be some offense, not only here today, but in the days to come.
I still think that's the story of the season, Bob. I mean, if you're going to talk about going to the next level and winning, which I think the Nats have a fantastic opportunity to do, it's going to come down to the offense. You know what you're getting from your staff. The bullpen was the strength of the team last year. I mean, what Teddy say? Walk softly and carry a big stick. Speak softly and carry a big stick. That's what they have to do. They have to hit this year.
Yep.
And it's not always just about how many hits you get. It's about scoring runs and producing runs, and there's a lot of ways to do that. But I think with Davey Johnson and his offense is going to be a little bit different from Jim Riggleman in the fact that, you know, he's not going to manufacture a lot. He likes his guys to swing in. He likes them to be aggressive. He'll bunt when he has to, but there's not going to be a lot of hitting and running. There's not going to be a lot of, you know, plays put on offensively. And it comes down to it, I think, you know, you got the pitching staff. If you score runs, you're going to win. So I still think a big question for them is, can the offense produce enough runs for this team to win.
Yeah, and not to dwell on it forever, but it's a lot of the same guys. The Nats were 14th in hitting, 13th in runs, struck out more than any team in the National League, and only the Giants had fewer walks than the Nats offense. Now in power they were fine, 7th in the league with 154 home runs, and they ran the bases pretty well. 8th in steals, but just not enough guys on base.
Last year the Nats were 54 and 24 when they scored 4 runs or more. So 30 games over 500 with 4 runs or more. And with this staff this year, probably better than last year's staff. You would figure if they could put 4 runs on the board consistently, they're going to win a lot of baseball.
Espinosa to his left, and he might have overreached that ball. Pedroia coming home. Worth's throw. Jason had no chance, and it's 6-0 now, and that'll close the line on Edwin Jackson. Danny got to that ball, got under him. RBI for Gonzalez, his 4th of the spring. And the Red Sox have 3 consecutive hits and 4 in this inning.
Now you're thinking pull already with Gonzalez up there. You see the range by Espinosa, and you call it, partner. See where the head is right there? Maybe that ball just got on him a little quicker. And a lot of times when the ball goes from dirt to grass, it can pick up speed, it can slow down. I think that might have been the case right there. As a second baseman, when I used to play back on the grass, I never liked it. Because you got one speed on the dirt, you got a different speed on the grass. So you're judging all these different speeds, and sometimes that affects whether you get the ball or not. And big guys up that are left-handed that don't run well, you want to get as much range as possible, but what you bring into play when you do that is fielding balls on the grass. And how often does an infielder work on fielding balls on the grass?
Shift is on for David Ortiz, who bounced right out there to Espinosa for an RBI grounder last time. Sean Burnett throws one on the outside corner, 2-1.
It's like that stat I came up with. I was bored the other day. I was on Baseball Reference, and I said, you know, with the staff this year, what was the record with 4 runs or more last year?
30 over. Left field, that'll play for Mark DeRosa. Couple of rough innings for the Nats. Jackson gives up 6 runs in 4 2/3 today, and it's all Boston. It's blooming in D.C., but the Red Sox have the lead. That's our version of the Green Monster out there, by the way, in dead center field. On top of the green batter's eye, you can have some fun out there. Come to the ballpark with a 5-game flex plan. Ignite your natitude. Pick 4 games, get a 5th one free. Starting at just $60, and you can go to nationals.com/flex for all your ticket information. So it's all Red Sox here after 4.5. LaRoche, Worth, and DeRosa. Somebody trying to get on base against Clay Buchholz. Adam LaRoche, by the way, had a kind word coming into the box for a former teammate in Atlanta, Jared Saltalamacchia.
How do you know it was a kind word? Maybe they didn't like each other.
I saw somebody smile. Either that or he told him a really good one-liner.
I saw something happen the other day with a couple of former teammates, Ubaldo Jimenez and Troy Tulowitzki.
How about that?
They weren't exchanging kind words to each other.
How about a pitcher getting himself suspended for, 5 games right at the end of spring training?
Yeah.
Those aren't spring training games he's suspended for.
Well, my whole take on that is if you feel that strongly about a former teammate and you have those feelings for him, go up to a man-to-man, face-to-face and take care of the business. Don't wait till you're on a pitcher's mound and throw at the guy.
Yeah.
If you felt that strongly about not liking him, walk up to him in the clubhouse, on the field, look him in the eye, and handle it like a man.
Might be the first time I've heard of anybody not liking Troy Tulowitzki. That ball ripped, and that ball's fair. It'll hit the short corner, and that'll keep LaRoche from going to second base. But the Nats do have their first base hit, and Adam hit that ball extremely hard.
Well, that's a swing that we were talking about, that Adam LaRoche was talking about before the game. That's the yucca-do swing right there. Just get the bat going early, trying to hit a jack. Look at the big swing right there, head down, and I should say more accurately, trying to hit the ball hard.
Yeah.
I think a lot of times when you do that as a hitter, Bob, you take all the thinking out of it. It kind of simplifies your approach. I'm going to go up there and swing hard in case I hit it. It sounds silly, but with Adam LaRoche, it works.
Yeah.
Sometimes he said he tries to be too fine and have a good at-bat and a good approach. And when he gets all that out of his head and just goes up there and lets it fly, that's when he gets locked in.
Well, I think you had a great line about that last year when you called it paralysis by analysis. You can overthink things way too much, and sometimes you just have to forget about it and let it fly.
And nobody did that more than me as a player. And nobody does that more as a golfer than you.
I believe that's the context in which I was speaking. Yeah, I'm going to swing hard this year in case I hit it.
You should. I'm seeing you. My pinky toes got to be facing northeast. My Achilles on my left foot's got to be super relaxed.
12.2 pounds of pressure on my thumb.
Yes.
And the 0-1 to Worth. Then pretty soon you're taking another ball out of your ball.
Yeah, I did that as a hitter. I did. Sometimes you can be too smart up there. Just keep it simple. Get all your work done in practice. Get in the cage. Get your swing right to where your confidence level is great. And then in the game, you just keep it simple. See ball, hit ball. I'm looking for one pitch in one spot. When I get it, let it go. But there's so many times when you're up there and that little man gets in your head and he starts talking about different things. And are my hands okay? Are my feet okay? Is he going to throw me a curveball? Is he going to throw me a fastball? And before you know it, you're Sybil up there and you don't even know what to do.
This reminds me, in fact, we probably have some Red Sox fans tuned in around the country today because they're not televising. And this guy played for them, Mike Stanley. Good catcher, good hitter, good DH. Yankees, Red Sox. I knew him when he was with the Texas Rangers, and he used to be a proponent of that thing. And he would write little messages to himself on the bottom of his bat, on the knob there, because he didn't want to be thinking too much in there. Now, Worth on a breaking ball will strike out away, and that'll be 4 Ks. But he would write TPTM on the bottom of his knob, this pitch, this moment. Or like you say, HTBH, he would write, hit the ball hard. He didn't want to be thinking about anything else when he stepped in there. And that's a guy who's probably near and dear to your heart because I think he made different ball clubs for like 5 or 6 years in a row as a non-roster guy in spring training, battling every day for his life. And suddenly you looked up and he fashioned a really nice career by keeping it simple. And it, helps if you hit and you got that power. But Mike Stanley was one of those kind of guys. Just did not want to overthink everything between those lines.
I used to write HTBDB on my bat. Hope this bat doesn't break. No, but it's simplifying things. You got so much stuff going on. You're playing in front of 30, 40,000 people. You're on TV. You're playing for your next contract. You're playing for that game to win that game. You want to pick your teammates up. You want to get your base hits. A lot of times you get so much exterior stuff going on in your head that it paralyzes you and you can't be an athlete.
Yeah.
Some of the best hitting coaches I had just said, see it and hit it, man. Keep it simple. Go up there and let it fly. With all the video and stuff, and we talked about a lot during the season last year, all the video, all the scouting reports, all the information these guys get nowadays. Sometimes it can be overwhelming.
1-1 to DeRosa. Bounced out to short first time. His forte is right field. especially with somebody on base. He hits it hard up the middle, and Aviles tried to rifle that ball over to Pedroia. Now, if he's trying to get one out, maybe he tosses it softer, but I think he was thinking two. That was a good range, though, by the shortstop. Aviles can cover some ground.
Yeah, nice play just getting to that baseball. But like you said, Bob, I think you made a good point. Trying to turn a double play when, that was a base hit. You took one hit away. You got a little more time right there than you think, especially with Adam LaRoche running. Nice stop, but then you go to barehand it, and sometimes when you backhand that ball and throw it with your bare hand, you don't know where it's going. Pretty good effort, though. Nice play.
Still waiting for a ruling on that. They could give him a hit.
Well, that's a hit. Anytime you're on your belly diving for a baseball, there's nothing routine about that play. That's a base hit all the way.
2 on, 1 out. Xavier Nady, the DH, will step in, and he could change the complexion of this thing in a hurry for the Nationals. Buchholz has had a good fastball today. He'll throw it under the hands of those right-handers and handcuff them. He has struck out 3. Yes, a handful of outs on the ground. I know we've hired an official scorer for this game because I saw him downstairs during lunch. No ruling yet that we can see.
Maybe he's still eating.
And we are now told hit. They put it on the board. So Mark DeRosa has his 15th hit of the spring. And with that ruling, he is hitting .441. Nady has 1 RBI as a net. He's 5 out of 19 in 6 games. He's the one who lined hard into Buchholz's glove first time up. Slow bouncer left side. And it looked like Pedroia tried to turn it. Maybe didn't have a handle on it. And the Nats are still alive. First and third, 2 outs.
And Xavier Nady's a big guy, but he gets down the line.
Good athlete.
Pretty good wheels right there. I don't think Pedroia had a chance even if he did hang on to it. But that's a big guy that runs pretty well. And we're still doing our scouting reports on him, too. He just got here a second ago, so, we're watching him, watching his arm, watching his swing. We like what we see so far, but that's the first time I've really seen him run, and very athletic, like you said.
Yeah, he was a basketball star at Salinas, California High School. And as I mentioned last week, his dad, Xavier Sr., played football for Colorado. Upstairs to Wilson Ramos, hunting his 5th RBI of the spring or more. Shadow is about 5 feet in front of home plate. FP, when does it really become a problem?
Oh, it's different times. I mean, I used to hate when everybody was in the shadow, but right behind the pitcher it was light. So there wasn't a real good backdrop, and all of a sudden the ball went bright to dark. And it's almost like coming out of a movie theater. You watch a long movie, you come out and you're squinting for the first 5 or 10 minutes. It's hard to pick up the baseball. It's hard to pick up the rotation. I mean, you can see the ball, but you can't see the rotation, so you don't recognize what pitch it is.
Can't see that dot on the slider like guys look for, huh?
No, I can't see the seams. It's just a gray blob coming at you. And there's 2 schools of thought to how you hit when the shadows are bad. A lot of guys go up there and look for the first fastball and get on it. And I used to go up there and stand like a statue and hope they threw me 4 before they threw me 3. I'm not going to swing at something I can't see.
2 on, 2 out. 6-0 Red Sox, bottom 5. That's well hit by Ramos. See you later. Almost straight away center field. And that's 3 for the Nats.
We had a good chuckle the other day in Vieira on the bench. Wilson and I said, you cannot wait to get back to D.C. and hit a ball in the red seats. I said, I called you Wilson Red Seats Ramos all last year. He loves to hit in this park, and sure enough, his first time back, as a national in this park this year, 2012. What does he do? Goes in the red seats.
That's where the big boys hit him. 6-3 game, and here's Bernardino. He rips one. Nats take some great swings in the 5th inning. They will come up with 3 runs on singles by LaRoche, DeRosa, and this bomb from young Mr. Ramos. Opening weekend for you next week, Thursday. The Reds are here, 105. Opening day ball cap from Geico for the first 20,000. Friday night, first 15,000 fans, an Attitude t-shirt from 106.7 The Fan. Saturday, first 15,000 fans, a Strasburg bobblehead presented by PNC Bank. Sunday, April 15, Jackie Robinson Day. Go to nationals.com/opening. And if you're sitting in the red seats, look out, because Red Seats Ramos should be in the lineup that day.
You got to get some helmets made with number 3 on them, like some hard hats out there, maybe some catcher's gear, and sit in the red seats. I mean, that's where he hits them.
I like it. And he'll be handling some gas in this inning, as Ross Detweiler, who has started in the spring, makes his 7th appearance, 1 start. That good ERA we talked about, a 3.24, 17 innings, 14 hits. A strikeout per inning, 5 walks, and FP, this is a stat that does indicate something to you, even though it's the spring. Opponents hitting .215 against him.
Yeah, you know I like that stat the best. What do guys hit off a guy? I'll tell you if he's got good stuff or not. But Ross Detweiler, definitely good stuff. 4-seam fastball, 2-seam fastball, slider change. He'll throw the 4-seam more than the 2-seam. But we've seen him be in the low 90s to the mid 90s. And we talked about the last game we did in Vieira against the Miami Marlins, having trouble getting into routine in the bullpen. Yeah, a starter his whole life, a guy that knows what to do every day between starts, has a routine for his starts, trying to figure out in the bullpen. And like I said earlier in the broadcast, if you missed it, it's tough to keep a young guy like Ross Detweiler, a guy that throws mid to upper 90s, out of a rotation. I mean, this is a guy that'd be starting on a lot of ball clubs. And
Youkilis hits that ball well to right. Worth is fighting the Sunfield out there, and he will make a fantastic play. That's not jumping over a wall to pull back in a home run, or that's not a diving play, but everything working against you in that Sunfield this time of the day.
Yeah, and if you've ever done that and you're running back and you lose the ball for a minute, a lot of guys will panic. The best thing that Jason Worth did right there, fighting the sun, anytime you see the shades lit up like that, he's looking right in the sun, is he kept running. A lot of guys, when they lose the baseball or see it in the sun for a minute or it goes in there, what you do is you quit running, and then all of a sudden the ball gets over your head. Worth did a great job of just continuing his pace, finding the fence, finding the ball, finding his fence. Like you said, Bob, fantastic play. Nice job.
Yeah, that's really good. Here's Sweeney. Pardon me, they're going to bat Darnell McDonald for him. Darnell McDonald, 345 at Pawtucket last year, just 9 games, and then 236, 79 games for the Red Sox. He's from Colorado State country out in Fort Collins. And he'll rip this one down the right field line, but is twisting out of play. Wow. FP passes me the smartphone. And evidently, the Nationals have released Chad Durbin because he just signed a minor league contract, a major league contract with the Atlanta Braves. How about that?
Well, there was one roster spot left, and it was between Ryan Matthews and Chad Durbin, so it looks, based on that Ryan Matthews is heading up to Chicago with the ball club, so congratulations. Now, we don't know anything official. We haven't heard from Nationals people. That's just what we saw on the computer. But
yeah, and that evidently wraps up the Christina Acra deal because we got her from Atlanta. So there's your player to be named later right there. Welcome aboard, Christina. For a minute, I thought she was the player to be named later for the deal that sent Darrell Ward to the Braves like 5 years ago. Took a while to wrap that one up, evidently. Detweiler facing McDonald. That's a swing and a foul tip. Ramos holding on to that thing.
And Davey's saying he caught it. He wants to get some help. Davey Johnson out of the Nats dugout right now asking for an appeal.
That was a 2-2 pitch, right? Should have been a strikeout if he caught that on the fly.
I just don't understand why guys won't ask sometimes. There's no reason not to ask.
Yeah, just tough to tell. 2-2. High gas.
It's just such a good fastball from Detweiler.
Oh, he's going to get him on the inside corner when McDonald thought he had walked.
A perfect pitch in a perfect spot. You go up and away with the pitch before that, and what do you do with this one? Paint down and in. Good frame by Wilson Ramos on the backhand. And you see the release out in front, the rotation of the baseball. But watch the frame by Wilson Ramos. Stick that, hold it, and give the umpire a good look at a strike. Sometimes you can make a borderline strike look like a better strike.
Cody Ross goes up hacking. This one's out to Worth, using his glove as a shield this time, and then Bernardino will come in and grab it. Either one could have made the play. Bottom six coming up. Top of the order for the Nats. 6-3 Sox. Sixth inning. Bunch of changes for the Red Sox here to tell you about in a moment. First of all, in left field, that appears to be Darnell McDonald, who just hit, and then he'll stay in and play at left field. Right field is Jonathan He. And then there's a familiar name over at third base. And that's Nick Punto. The guy who's a hard-working player. And in center field, that is Jason Repko, who actually. And then Kevin Youkilis goes over to first base.
And this is a portion of the broadcast of the color analyst quits keeping score every time.
Yeah, you've hung me out to dry a few times this spring. That's okay. You just keep analyzing what you see. I'll do the what, you do the how and the why.
Just in spring training, I get confused. I cannot concentrate on my scorecard that intently that long.
We can't tell you the hitters. Ian Desmond, top of the order. That ball's well hit to left, and we will watch it sail. It appears to be a home run. It is, and it's a 6-4 game. That's Desmond's third of the year. That is a low laser to left.
And just we were talking about Ian Desmond, not your prototypical leadoff hitter. He's going to have to pull the ball early in the count. What does he do? Look at that swing right down to it. Short, compact to the baseball. Good extension. See the follow through right there. And watch this fan. He just wears it right in the chest. Not even close. But I guess when something's coming at you that hard, it's hard to catch.
Wow.
I mean, that's going to leave a mark.
So the Nats are right back in the game with 4 unanswered runs. And Danny Espinosa stepping in 0 for 2. Ground ball to first. Swinging strikeout. Buchholz still pitching. That ball's well hit, and it's right at the right fielder Nava, Daniel Nava. And that's the first out here in the 6th. We'll check in now with Christina.
Thanks, Bob. Well, earlier today we heard from Ryan Zimmerman, who's the face of this franchise, and you really can't talk about it enough. What he was talking about, the positive energy of this ball club. He said the preparation is the same as every year, but this year it's a completely different atmosphere. He used words like upbeat, energetic, chemistry. By far the best season he's had here, and he knew it was going to be exciting, but it's been better than expected so far.
Well, if he stays healthy, knock on wood, that should continue for quite a while.
Well, it's got to be exciting for him. I mean, he's been here through the bad times and now hopefully the good times for his sake. Sign that long deal. He's going to be what looks like a Nat for life. And he's got to be pumped. And just to see the improvement around him and the way this franchise has developed, and now the potential that they have this season.
Two balls and one strike. Buchholz probably nearing the end of the line. They have been warming up. Justin Thomas out there in left field. He's their only lefty in the bullpen today. Red Sox made an interesting pickup during the offseason, of course, with their closer Jonathan Papelbon gone. And it wasn't really that noticed of a move, but they did pick up Mark Melanson, who had 20 saves for a not great ball club in Houston last year. And the Nats got a taste of him a time or two, and he was pretty good. And he'll be an interesting pitcher to keep an eye on in Fenway in the Boston area this year. Zimmerman locked up on that one, and maybe the shadows contribute.
Well, with Andrew Bailey having thumb problems, you never know what's going to happen. It seems like it's an epidemic right now for Sox pitchers, with Beckett and Bailey both having thumb problems, both going to see specialists in Cleveland today.
So after 5 2/3, Buchholz will depart, having given up 4 runs to the Nats. I saw a signal to the bullpen, and that, of course, is the Red Sox new pitching coach, Bob McClure. So Bobby Valentine sends out the pitching coach to make a change here in the 6th inning. Desmond's home run, then 2 outs, and it's a 6-4 game. A lot of names, a lot of possibilities still on that lineup card this stage of the game. It was 6-0. Nats are battling back with a long ball. It's now 6-4. The hits are also 6-4. And LaRoche coming up in a moment. Follow the Nats all season long with MLB.com at Bat 12 for your tablet, smartphone, or mobile device. Delivering information wherever you are with scores, stats, video, live audio, a whole lot more. Text at BAT to 31826 or visit nationals.com. Left-hander Justin Thomas. First pitch strike to Adam LaRoche, who's 1 for 2. Thomas all year last year at AAA Indianapolis for the Pirates. 63 appearances in relief. 12 out of the bullpen for the Pirates in 2010 and 8 for Seattle in 08.
Yeah, 3-pitch guy, fastball, slider, split. Likes the split finger. He'll throw it a lot.
He's from Clay, Ohio. Attended Youngstown State, where he was proud to be a Penguin. High and tight, spinning LaRoche out of there. 2 balls, 1 strike. Adam LaRoche, one of the best batting eyes on the ball club. I think the Nats would have been a more selective team with him playing for 6 months. He was out after mid-May because of the shoulder, and he was 7th in the league at walks at that time. Despite the slow start, he was still getting on base. Like he does here. Suddenly the tying runs in the batter's box as Worth comes walking in.
The 1-1 fastball almost hit LaRoche. The 2-1 fastball was inside, and Adam looked out there to Justin Thomas like, come on, dude, it's spring training. Don't hit me right now. Throw a strike.
Yeah.
And he gave him the look.
Worth 0 for 2, 10 for 49 in the spring, and the Nats will have a pinch runner. How many times will Chad Tracy come in to be a pinch runner in his career?
Well, if Chad Tracy came out to pinch run for me, I would grab both hamstrings and limp back to the bench.
To avoid the embarrassment and the ribbing?
I might even have the trainer come out with a stretcher to take me off. But congratulations to Chad Tracy. Found out he made the ball club yesterday.
Yeah.
He's been a friend of mine for a while through a mutual friend, and I couldn't be happier for him. It's a great story. He played in Japan. Now he's back in the big leagues.
That's a hit if it stays fair, and it just missed hitting the bag. Ball hugging that grass dirt border all the way down.
That's a good play. You just got to let it go. I mean, if you pick it up, it's a base hit. If you let it go, you got a chance that it goes foul. So nice play right there. And if I'm Chad Tracy right now, I'd have one goal, and that would be to draw a throw. Get out my primary lead and make him throw over one time.
0-2 to Worth. As usual, Mark DeRosa has a base hit today, maybe more by the time it's over. And Worth is gone. Nats are done in the 6th. Leadoff homer by Desmond tightens things up a bit. 6-4 Boston. And now we go on to the 7th inning. Nats have some defensive changes and a new pitcher. We'll set it all for you with Chad Tracy at first. So he'll be the cleanup guy now. Third base will be Steve Lombardozzi. And another guy who's had a good spring, Brett Carroll. 4 RBIs, some good defensive plays for Carroll. And on the mound, the Nats will go with Craig Stammen, who will make his 8th appearance in 13 innings, a 2.13 ERA. 11 hits, 13 strikeouts, 2 walks, and opponents only hitting .229.
Yeah, pretty good spring for him. Fastball, slider, curveball, change.
So we will assume those changes are straight up because we're playing with the DH today. Lombardozzi has a chance, just unable to reach backhand and get that. Managers will do some double switching in National League type spring training games. But today we'll assume the changes are straight up, and we'll let you know when they come up to bat. Jared Saltalamacchia. A walk and a run scored last time, a pop up to short in the 3rd. The Red Sox have out-hit the Nationals 6-4 and lead by the same score.
And pretty good run production on both sides.
Yeah.
6 runs on 6 hits for the Red Sox, 4 runs on 4 hits for the Nats.
Well, right now the Nats are 20 games over 500, right? Or 30 over with that stat you gave us from last year. 4 runs or more. They're dominating. Just unbelievable.
54 and 24 last year when they scored 4 runs or more.
Wow.
And like I said before, that number will definitely be higher with the staff being a little bit better this season.
Saltalamacchia, Aviles, and Ellsbury. Well, Ellsbury was in the ball game, and then whoever is in the lineup for him, probably Jason Repko. That ball lifted out beyond second. Desmond the call. 7th inning underway. This copyrighted telecast presented by authority of the Washington Nationals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the expressed written consent of the Washington Nationals. Shortstop Mike Aviles is next. That is right-hander Michael Bowden. One ball and 2 strikes now. Stammen spins one on the inside corner. Ball got a little piece of Ramos there. Craig Stammen last year, 7 games out of the bullpen for the Nats in 10 innings. Only gave up a run on 3 hits. Most of the season at Syracuse, where he made 24 starts and went 10-7. That ball lifted to left. Some carry on it. DeRosa short of the track for the 2nd out. Well, it's 5 o'clock and things aren't moving very quickly on I-395 just to the north of us, but we're having a great time. A mile and a half south at Nationals Park. Bob Carpenter, FP Santangelo, and Christina Acra with you on MASN HD. The Nats will have a workout here at the ballpark at 11 o'clock tomorrow morning. The bags will be packed, and it's on to Chicago right after that. Day games Thursday, Saturday, Sunday to get the season started against the Cubs. This is Nick Punto, who came in to play third base. Punto, some major league time with St. Louis last year for 63 games. And he played well for the world champions at 278 with 20 RBIs. Versatile guy. Switch hitter who can play different positions and do a lot of things for a ball club. Stammen way inside, ball 3. Well hit under the glove of Desmond on a hot one hopper. Red Sox have their 7th base hit.
I think you see right there why he's so valuable. Obviously known for his glove, but just a guy that goes up there and puts the bat on the ball. Not a lot to the swing. Barreled the baseball, got yourself a knock. And that's how you stick around. You know, winning a World Series doesn't hurt the resume either. The run that those guys had last year, talking about the St. Louis Cardinals, he's a big part of that.
Jason Repko. I think we remember him from the Dodgers a few years ago.
Former first-round pick.
Yeah, he actually leads the Red Sox this spring in stolen bases with 7. Actually, they have one player, part-time guy, Pedro Siriaco, an infielder who has 8. They've been a running ball club, and that's a great jump. Ramos won't bother to throw. Punto stole that one on Craig Stammen, who never looked at it.
So those guys that have been around, sometimes they'll peek in there and get the sign. You look at the jump right there. He almost didn't trust it. A lot of times a base runner, you get that big a jump, you saw the false step. Something's telling you I'm leaving too soon right now. He hasn't even gone to the plate, but he trusted it, kept going. And like you said, he stole that base off Stammen for sure.
So the Red Sox have a chance to score a run here with 2 outs. That's a fastball right in there. 1-2. The aforementioned Pedro Siriaco. That's what the scoreboard says. Now they've changed it. Now it's Daniel Neva. The scoreboard had Siriaco, but that's Neva, who's been in the ball game playing right field.
Remember him, Northern California guy. The first pitch he saw as a Boston Red Sox after a long career in the minor leagues. A grand slam.
Wow.
The first pitch as a major leaguer. Went from University of Santa Clara. Played in some independent leagues. Was actually the clubhouse guy for his college team. He walked down there, and then a great story all the way to the big leagues for the Boston Red Sox. The first pitch he saw in Fenway Park, a grand slam.
That's awesome. Daniel Nava on deck. Front door breaking ball stays up and in. 3-2.
I mean, if that was me, I'd just shut it down right there. Hey, you can't get any better than that. You work your tail off to get to the big league level. A bunch of different stops. You're in Fenway Park, a Boston Red Sox. Grand slam, I retire. As I cross home plate.
Fastball in there. Inning over. Time to stretch at Nationals Park after 6.5. Red Sox and some treats. It's Boston 6-4. Pedroia, they'll be in the middle of everything, and Dustin Pedroia has 2 doubles, 3 RBIs. Ellsbury a couple of hits, 2 runs and an RBI. Wilson Ramos, the big blow of the game, a 3-run bomb, followed by Ian Desmond with a solo in the 6th.
And just a different sound coming off Wilson Ramos' bat. Every time that guy goes deep or squares one up, just a different sound. And you look at Ian Desmond too, dropping the head right there, getting the head out early in the count. So a couple of taters for the Nationals, and Nats fans and guys in that dugout want to see more of that this year. Those are some good swings.
So the Nats, like they did often last year, using the long ball to get some things done offensively. The Red Sox still have left-hander Justin Thomas.
And for those 2 guys, we just showed the highlights of the home run. Got to be a good feeling as you're heading to opening day, going to Chicago tomorrow. There's no better feeling than as a player, all the work you put in spring training, finally getting the job done and being locked in as you head to opening day.
And Lombardozzi, no, that's DeRosa, pardon me. Another 2-hit day for Mark DeRosa, just chopping one down the left side. So he's 2 for 3 today. Mark DeRosa this spring is now 16 for 35, batting .457.
And I bet you Mark DeRosa would be the first one to tell you got to save that one for the season. But I've been on both sides of that, Bob, to where you're breaking camp and you're feeling like I'm locked in, I'm going north right now. And that's when you're relaxed. You take your swing into the season, but there's no worse feeling. And I've been on that side, too, where you're still searching for your swing as spring training has ended. Now, all of a sudden, hey, you tell everybody in the spring, well, it doesn't count. And I never put my spring training average on the back of my baseball card. Who cares when I'm hitting down here? But all of a sudden, the at-bats start to count. And if you're not locked in going to the season, it is a sinking feeling.
Adrian Sanchez, the pinch runner for the Nationals. They gave some of their minor league guys a bit of a reward and brought them up here for this one. And Sanchez is one of those, along with Randolph Oduber, Neil Holland, Pat Lehman, Kevin Poussadas, and David Freitas.
And what a thrill for those guys. Talking to someone around the cage. I was talking to Freitas today. He's a Sacramento guy. He's going to be Potomac this year, but he was talking about getting on the plane yesterday and flying on the charter and the Nationals clubhouse. These are A-ball guys rubbing shoulders with big leaguers for a couple of days. What a thrill it must be for those 2. You come up here, you're going to be an A-ball, and all of a sudden you're hanging out with big league players. You're eating big league spreads. I mean, talk about a recruiting trip. Not that you needed incentive at all, but it's a nice play by the Nats minor league guys, getting those guys over here. Let them get a look-see at the big leagues.
Yeah, it looks like Ryan Matthews for the 8th after Stammen got a scoreless inning. That ball really well hit by Xavier Nady. So he has his first hit of the day, and he's hit the ball pretty sharply 3 times. We are liking what we are seeing from that veteran bat.
And more importantly, so is Davey Johnson. Yeah, that's a big league swing right there. And you check out the pitch location where it's at with a plate coverage right there, letting the ball get deep. And not just hitting it the other way, smoking it. You use the hole right there. Hit it too hard for first and third action. Nice swing.
Yeah, first and second, nobody out. And here's Wilson Ramos, who could put the Nats ahead if he does what he did last time up when he hit one a mile. Just that dimension of power we talked about earlier that you don't usually get from that spot of the batting order. Now in the American League some clubs have that, but in the National League not as a rule.
And what allows you to do is catch up like they have today. If you got guys that can go deep, you stay in baseball games. And obviously this staff and this rotation is going to keep them in baseball games. But when you get behind, like today, 6-0, and you got guys that can swing the bat for power, that's how you get back into a baseball game. When you look at the lineup, you got Ramos and Desmond and Espinosa and Zimmerman, LaRoche, Worth. I mean, these guys all got pop. So you're never out of a baseball game, even when you're behind early.
Yeah, he was ripping on 2-0.
And teams that don't hit for power, they get behind 6-0, the game's over. I mean, it's tough to string together a bunch of base hits in a row to get back into a baseball game when you're down. But, you know, you get a hit here, a walk there, and a big fly, and all of a sudden you're back in a baseball game. And the Nats have that kind of power ability. I think that's a big reason why Davey Johnson wants Pop off his bench.
Yeah, Davey told me today, no slight to the guys that were here, but he feels so much more dangerous with his bench this year. Two-two pitch. Ramos just going down there to get a piece of it and stay alive.
Well, he said something to that effect to me in spring training where, you know, I don't like middle infielders on my bench. And I told him, I said, Davey, that's probably why I got 140 at-bats in L.A. for you.
Yeah.
He doesn't like little guys off the bench.
Yeah. Ramos a homer, 7 RBIs this spring. 3-2 on a fastball taken low and in, barely. Runners waiting, base hit left field, heading for third Sanchez. Bo Porter's going to send him, and he is safe with a nice slide off to the right and then reaching around with the bare hand. It's a 6-5 game.
And Bo Porter taking a chance there with nobody out, down by 2 in the 7th inning. Obviously knowing more about his base runner than we do, knowing the speed of Sanchez, waved him all the way. A lot of times down by 2, you'll see a third base coach hold a runner with nobody out, thinking we'll take bases loaded, nobody. But Bo Porter very aggressive right here. Good turn by Sanchez. A lot of times that goes unnoticed as a base runner, and a great slide on the back end.
Yeah, Bo Porter said, hey, little guy, we didn't call you up here for a day to stand around on third base. Go on. Nicely done.
Did you see the bubble being blown right around third?
Great poise.
I mean, talk about a guy who's coming around third base. Sanchez blowing a bubble about 3 steps past the bag. Check this out. I'm going to score a run. I'm going to score a run. I'm in the big leagues today, but I'm going to blow a bubble on the way home. How about that?
Nice. First and second, nobody out with Bernardina coming in. Wilson Ramos, a 4 RBI day, doubling his spring total. And Roger now a chance to tie the game. Everybody pinching in because he can bunt. Nobody covering third. They only have one play. And that will go 1-3 on a perfect Roger Bernardina sacrifice bunt. Red Sox didn't have any kind of wheel play going there, so when Spears, the third baseman, committed, they had nobody else there. Now Bobby Valentine will make a pitching change.
And not the easiest bunt right here. You got shadows. It's left on left. You're facing a lefty, and sometimes guys that are good base hit bunters have trouble sacrifice, buddy. But nice job by Roger Bernardina moving the runners along.
Tying runs at third base with 1 out. Bobby V gets the ball from Justin Thomas. The Nats on the door step of tying this game. Wilson Ramos driving in 4 of the 5 Washington runs. And the hits are even at 7. Second and third, 1 out. And a reminder that single game tickets are on sale, have been for a couple of weeks. Here's your chance to ignite your Natitude for about just $10 a game. Go to nationals.com/tickets. Check it out. Join us here at the ballpark for some exciting National League and Interleague baseball this year. Ian Desmond is homered today. He will face 25-year-old right-hander Michael Bowden, who pitched 41 relief games at Pawtucket last year and 14 for the Sox with no record. Desmond 1 for 3. Nady good speed at third. Ramos behind him. Interesting. Time given by the umpire, requested by the hitter. Desmond was walking out of the batter's box. The last time I saw infielders back and then coming forward, FP, was when the Nats played St. Louis a couple of years ago with La Russa doing that.
Well, Bobby V does that all the time. You know, back in the day when we played the Mets, we used to call it the safety blitz. He leaves the guys back, they'll come running in. I think more than anything, it's just to deceive the hitter, and that's a nice job by Ian Desmond to step out. It'll freak you out the first time you see it. You're used to infielders being stationary. And Bobby V will start the guys up. He'll move them back. He'll start them back and move them up. Personally, I think it's way overrated, but yeah, it's something he does. As an infielder, you don't want to be running around when the ball's hit at you 100 miles an hour. You want to be stationary.
And I'm just guessing, I would think the objective is to lead the hitter to believe he can just hit a little ground ball to the second baseman or shortstop, get an RBI, and all of a sudden those guys are a lot closer. Now they're going to back up again.
He's trying to disguise the defense. Show a cover 3 and then go man.
Ball gets away 2-0, and not lost in this is the fact the pitcher still has to throw some strikes.
Yeah, that helps. But I would think it would distract the pitcher. I mean, yeah, obviously you work on it, but for the Red Sox, they haven't never run this before with Terry Francona as their manager. This is all new to them. You're working out in spring training, but if I'm a pitcher out of the stretch and I can see peripherally guys running all over the place, it might affect me.
2-0 to Desmond. A good hitting count, but that fastball, no reason to offer. Way upstairs, ball 3.
Green light right here all the way.
Danny Espinosa. Desmond. Hard to walk in. 4 in a row and the bases are loaded. That's only Ian Desmond's 3rd walk of the spring.
I mean, but it's game plan hitting, though. You got the tying run on third, the winning run on second base. You're looking for a pitch in the spot. You're not just swinging to swing. So pretty good at bat right there from Desmond. And honestly, I don't know how well they're seeing the baseball at this point. Shadows are bad.
Danny Espinosa 0 for 3, way inside. Starting to look like the Nats may not have to swing the bat to tie this game.
And Bowden's looking around at the mound like he doesn't like it. He threw that pitch right there, slipped a little bit, looked back at the mound. And it doesn't matter what the mound's like in this situation. You got to find a way to throw strikes. And if you're Danny Espinosa right now, you're looking for one pitch in one zone. Don't want to help him out. If a guy's struggling, you never want to help him, but you also want to be very aggressive on your pitch.
Borderline call, and the pitcher gets it for a strike.
It's a good take.
Yeah.
You don't want to help him out. That's a pitcher strike all the way. You're looking for something with a little more plate than that pitch.
Could have easily been called ball 2. Now Danny needs contact. That one bounces, covered by Butler, the catcher. Daniel Butler came in this inning to relieve Salt Salamakia. Two balls, two strikes. And a take and a ball over but low, and the count's full with the bases full.
If I'm hitting right here, I step in the box and I say I'm sitting dead red. You throw me anything else, you got me. I'm fastball all the way, 100% committed to that pitch. He's got to throw something for a strike. You want to trick me with the slider, trick me with the changeup, you got me, but I'm all over your fastball.
3-2 pitch with one out. And that's not even close. The game's tied. Two of the most aggressive hitters in the league walked consecutively by the Boston pitcher Bowden here.
Kind of picking up right where the Nats left off in 2011, right? First day back in this ballpark, down by some runs, coming back. I mean, how many times did we see what's going on right now last year?
See, for a moment there, I thought you were out of your mind saying, I don't remember Desmond and Espinosa walking back to back.
I'm talking about fighting until the end.
You got that part of it right, buddy.
They led the league in walk-offs last year. It's a team that never goes away, and I know it's just a spring training game right now, but if you watched this ball club last year, this is exactly what we saw more nights than not.
And a big spot now for Steve Lombardozzi, who came in for Zimmerman at third. Lombardozzi, a good spring, 313, 21 hits and 67 at bats with a homer and 3 RBIs. Lombardozzi hit .309 at Harrisburg and .310 at Syracuse last year before getting the call-up. Then he was 6 for 31 as a big leaguer with an RBI. He goes up hacking, saw a pitch he liked, and fouled it off to the left.
He just finds a way to get things done. Finds a way to win baseball games. Not a guy that's going to wow you if you watch him for one game. But if you get a chance to see him play over the long haul, he does all the little things the right way and help you win a lot of ball games.
Red Sox infield at double play depth here with one out. Lombardozzi lifting one to left. Not that deep. Near the line, caught. And coming home is Ramos, and he will score. It took 2 throws because the left fielder had so much steam heading for the line. And how about Washington taking the lead here, 7-6.
Not going to wow you with his ability on one day, but he does things to help the ball club. And you see it right here. Lombardozzi right there. You see the feet of Wilson Ramos tagging up. And how about you, partner? But I went player mode right here. I had one thought when Wilson Ramos was running home right here. Don't get hurt, don't get hurt, don't get hurt, don't get hurt, don't get hurt.
And I like the feet first slide. Goes in with authority. Chris Siegel calls him safe. Edwin Jackson's off the hook. All 3 of these runs charged now to Justin Thomas. And the 8th hitter of the inning is Chad Tracy. He of the pinch running appearance last time. He'll bounce out 4-3. Good inning for the Nats. Red Sox did a lot to help them with 2 walks. 7-6 Washington. To be in Chicago for opening day. Wrigley Field, home of the Cubs, almost as old as Fenway. And Steven Strasburg gets the call to take them on for the Nationals. A normal start of the season for him, an honor well-deserved. And Steven has some definite thoughts on getting out there in an atmosphere like that Thursday, opening day, against the Cubs.
You see it on TV, and just from some of the guys who played there, some of the guys, you know, who actually played for the Cubs. I mean, it's a different atmosphere, so that's something that I'm looking forward to. Just seeing, you know, packed house, you know, crazy fans and stuff. It's going to be a fun time, and you know, hopefully we go out there and get the job done.
You know, it's not easy to go into Wrigley Field when the Cubs are tied for first place.
He's going to be throwing 1,000,000 on opening day.
1,000,000 miles an hour?
1,000,000. He's so jacked up to be out there. We can't wait to see it.
Top of the 8th, Ryan Matthews gets work, and with Chad Durbin now evidently departed and signing with Atlanta, here's one of your bullpen guys. Daniel Nava, by the way, the hitter for the Red Sox, leading off here in the 8th.
And it's got to be a relief for him. I don't think I've ever seen anybody want to be a part of a ball club more than Ryan Matthews this spring. A guy that was gripping every single pitch. It's something I'm very familiar with. That's why the guys that find out the last day are near and dear to my heart. There's times when, you know, you're packing your boxes, you're wondering where you're going to go. The minor leagues north, you're getting released, and when you finally find out, it's a great feeling.
Yeah, I was just thinking about those kids who came up that are headed for Potomac. You know, they had to be in this area anyway, so what a nice way to bring them up for a day, put them in a major league ballpark, and then the short drive down to Woodbridge. 2-1 pitch, and that ball is ripped to dead center. Bernardina back, and he can only watch it tie the game. Daniel Nava with a straightaway blast. Well, you talked about his power.
Yeah, definitely some pop in that swing. We talked about the first pitch he saw as a major leaguer hitting a grand slam. Well, how about that? Not a bad pitch. Down the zone, just got a lot of plate. The deepest part of the ballpark. That ball was smoked.
Yeah. You hit one here, you've earned it. It's a fair ballpark. 5th year coming up of Nationals Park, by the way. And right from the first couple of months we were here in 08, everybody would tell you it's a fair park. Kelly Shopik functions as the DH now with Ortiz out of the game, and that's a base hit for him. Nate Spears is the hitter, replacing Kevin Youkilis, who played first base for an inning or so and then departed. Nate Spears, 304 this spring with a homer, 6 RBIs. And now Matthews falls behind 2-0.
A couple of overthrows right there after the home run. And settle down, get the ball down the strike zone. Use your two-seam fastball. Ryan Matthews goes two-seam fastball, 95-96 slider split. So in this situation, he was looking for a ground ball, something down the zone, hit a spot, get the ball on the ground.
They'll have to hurry for 2. Desmond unable to turn it. Out of that side of the box, Spears down the line in a hurry. The Nats will settle for the 4-6.
A good pitch. Exactly what he wanted right there, down in the zone. Just wasn't hit hard enough with the speedy Spears to turn two. And pretty good location. For Ryan Matthews, it's all about location and sink. You see Wilson Ramos right there reaching down to get that ball, so down in the strike zone.
And the fact that it was off the end of the bat made it too slow for Danny and Ian to turn a couple. Here's the hitter. Darnell McDonald came into play the outfield a couple of innings ago, struck out looking in the 6th against Ross Detweiler. 7-7 game, 16 hits in the game, 9 by Boston. Up and in part of the strike zone. Right-hander Pat Lehman throwing for the Nats. Henry Rodriguez listed on the card as available today, so if Ryan can take care of business here, Lehman may sit down and then Rodriguez would get ready for the 9th. But they have a couple of extra pitchers ready if needed. Henry showing great plastic catching ability there in his spare time.
Nice.
And the 0-2. They're a little tougher to catch when they're empty. They can float around on you a little bit. Wind currents out there in the bullpen. I can only imagine if F.P. Santangelo had been a relief pitcher, the stories that would be told about you years and years later.
Well, I had a few managers that put me in the lineup just because they got sick of me sitting on the bench next to him. So I wouldn't have had a lot of friends in the bullpen, I'll tell you that.
1 ball and 2 strikes with an inside corner target. By the way, Wilson Ramos has been going all the way in a couple of ball games. The other day he did it in Jupiter, doing it again today. Getting lots of time behind the plate to get a final stamp on these pitchers. Way inside, ball gets away. Matthews almost hit the batter McDonald, and Spears down to second base. Yep, 1 out's the signal. Third base coach Jerry Royster, a good major leaguer during his time working over there for the Red Sox. Bobby Valentine brought in Royster at third, Alex Ochoa at first. Bob McClure is the pitching coach. His bench coach, and there's Ochoa, is Tim Bogar, a former Met who Bobby knows well from New York. And of course they retained hitting coach Dave Magadan, another former Met, and bullpen coach Gary Tuck. Two balls and 2 strikes. Nats took the lead with 3 in the 5th, a run in the 6th, and 3 more in the 7th. Red Sox have tied it here in the 8th with a chance to retake their lead that at what time was 6-0. And then Ryan is struggling, 3-2. What a pick over at third. Hot shot to Lombardozzi for the second out. He can play anywhere.
Yeah, we've talked about at length. Third base, the toughest position for a utility player, especially when you're used to playing up the middle. You don't have a lot of time to react. You're right on top of the hitter. And I can't imagine that play was easy right now this time of day. Shadows everywhere, right on him. Nice job.
And the hitter now is Pedro Siriaco. Came into play shortstop. .429 this spring with 18 out of 42. A homer, 8 RBIs from San Pedro de Macorís. Counts even, 1-1. Nationals in the 8th. We'll have Carroll as the leadoff guy. Comebacker, Matthews has it. So as it turns out, the only run, the leadoff homer by Nava, pardon me, bottom of the 8th. It's all 7-7.
All tied up as we go to the bottom of the 8th, and let's look back at the day that Wilson Ramos is at. Like I said, you want to be locked in when the season starts, and I would say that Wilson red seats Ramos is. How many home runs did he hit to that part of the ballpark last year? He kind of owned the red loft, and he starts out 2012 first game back here in Nats Park with a home run there, then a little base hit to left field, scoring the Speedy Sanchez. It's just a nice day all around. Getting his legs underneath him, catching the 9th inning, and that's a good guy to see locked in as the Nationals head to Chicago.
New pitcher for the Red Sox, Alfredo Aceves. 6th appearance. He's made 3 starts with a 5.5 ERA. 15 strikeouts in 18 innings. But he's given up 12 runs, 11 of those earned. Nationals will go with Brett Carroll to lead off. Then Jesus Flores will bat for the pitcher in the 6th spot, because when Nady came in to play left field, they lost their DH. So in essence, a double switch. And then it'll be Ramos after that, should be. No, it'll be Nady after that, before Ramos. So Carroll, Flores, and Nady. And I'm quitting while I'm ahead.
You're probably the most excited guy in the world, but this is the last spring training game.
You know what? It's like calling 6 spring football games. It's the only thing I can compare it to. It's a red-white game 6 times. Carroll this spring, 13 hits, 4 RBIs. Flashing a great arm in the outfield. He's like the right-handed Rick Ankiel out there. Ankiel probably has a stronger arm, but Carroll very good in that department.
I wouldn't go that far, but he's got a good arm.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any right-handed Rick Ankiels in baseball, period. But yeah, anywhere you put him, very accurate, pretty good arm. Above average for sure. He made some good throws down in Florida in the games we did. A guy that you could put anywhere.
Gets jammed on that one. Spears to his left. And that's the first out. And I'm only guessing, but being the day it is, we're not in Florida anymore, and plane trips and season openers are upon these 2 ball clubs. I would assume after 9 innings, this one would be a tie if nobody scores. And I don't. It just doesn't look like a game that would go any extra time. And I think the fans would say with 14 runs and 16 hits, they've gotten their money's worth.
Absolutely.
So here's Jesus Flores to pinch hit for the pitcher, Matthews. 280. Jesus 14 for 50 with a couple of homers and 5 RBIs. And as expected, Henry Rodriguez now for the 9th. Either a save or a hold 'em situation. That was an unhittable breaking ball from one side of the plate to the other. And Jesus in the hole 0-2. And he goes high and tight with the hitter possibly leaning out. Well, Xavier Nady is starting to become a guy kind of like Mark DeRosa. Every time he plays, he gets at least a base hit. Another one today. Norris with a take on a fastball, low and in, 2-2.
I mean, he had to, talking about Nady, almost be feeling like he was in a casino playing with house money. I mean, you're up.
And they picked him up in a limo and rolled out the red carpet for him.
You have nothing to lose. They call you up. You're sitting at home. You come to spring training.
Yeah, a week and a half later, you're making a team.
All in, let it ride.
A good team. You know, this isn't some 102 loss team that called him that needed a warm body.
He's got a chance to be a part of something special.
And a 3-2 with one out. Flores not able to wave far enough for that one. So Xavier Nady comes in. He scored 2 runs today. Hit the ball hard first time. Lined out to the pitcher. Fielder's choice in the 5th. Base hit. Run scored in the 3-run 7th. So he is 6 for 21 in 6 games. Davey Johnson talking about Nady around the cage today. Loves the sound of the ball off of his bat. As mentioned, always a great athlete, but injuries have intervened several times during his career. So here he is at the age of 33, coming off a season in Arizona when he only was able to play 82 games. He's gone, didn't like the call, and this one's into the 9th inning. 7-9-0 Sox, 7-7-0 Nats. Full day of baseball here at Nationals Park. Ball game about 2 hours and 45 minutes old at this point. Ninth inning coming up. Henry Rodriguez maybe never more important to the ball club than he will be right out of the starting gate this year. Injuries have taken place at the tail end of spring training here, FP, and some adjustments have to be made.
I think the big thing about all these injuries, talking to Mike Rizzo before the game, is these guys are getting better. And they're almost better right now. They want to err on the safe side because, you know, at the beginning of the season, you're talking about a 6-month season, 162 games, a long haul. Make sure all these guys you're looking at on the screen are 100% healthy. But, yeah, for Henry Rodriguez right now, filling in for Drew Storn, it's going to be saved by committee with Brad Lidge and Henry Rodriguez. He's had a fantastic spring. Starting to throw quality strikes, not just throwing strikes. And you talk to everybody in the Nationals dugout, they couldn't be more pleased with what Henry's done down in Florida.
To the tune of 12 games now, a 0 ERA, 11 innings, 5 hits, not a single run, 2 walks, 11 strikeouts, which is the primary reason for everything. Nearly a 6-to-1 ratio, and then an opponent's batting average of 147. Rodriguez and Ramos the battery here. And the hitter will be Daniel Butler, the catcher for the Red Sox. Butler, 250 this spring, 4 for 16 with a homer, 3 RBIs. Non-roster guy. Right in there.
Probably a fun at bat. Coming in.
Shadows,
100 miles an hour.
Henry.
Go get him.
Unofficially, first pitch was 97. That's out to right center. Right over the top of Danny Espinosa. And Butler has a base hit. Go ahead run on for the Sox here in the 9th. That'll bring in the second baseman, Jonathan He. Another guy hitting 250 on the spring. 3 for 12 with an RBI. Nats looking for 2. Lombardozzi just in front of even with the bag at third. He had to fight off that ball to bunt it. Lombardozzi plays it over to Tracy. And then Ramos hustles down the line to make sure third base was covered.
And pretty good job right there by He.
Yeah. Or him.
That's not easy either, coming in.
But I mean, that fastball coming up and in, how do you bunt that thing?
Well, you want to bunt strikes, but you know, when it's 100 miles an hour, you don't have a whole lot of time to think about it, especially with the shadows and being a little bit dark right now. So nice bunt, got the job done. Winning runs in scoring position.
Top of the order, Nick Punto, who singled and stole a base his first time up in the 7th inning. There are times when Henry gets preoccupied with runners at second base in situations like this, and you don't really want him to do that and forget about the hitter. Not that he's forgetting, but maybe a little bit of that edge comes off. Nobody defensively anywhere near the bag. He delivers a good fastball to the corner, 1-1.
Well, that's when, you know, as a middle infielder, if he does, you yell at him. You tell him, hey, it's a catcher. He's going nowhere. Get the hitter. And that's part of your job as a shortstop, second baseman in situations like that. And, you know, you see a guy that's paying too much attention to a guy that's not going to run. Tell him. Let him know.
1-1 pitch. And a bouncer. All four middle fielders up the middle for the Nats have gone the distance today. Ramos, Desmond Espinosa, and Bernardino. Rogers shades toward left center, as you can see. Tough field in right for Brett Carroll this time of the day. Late swing, backhand. Lombardozzi looking the runner back. Low throw. Tracy can only bat it down. And then advancing from second to third alertly, Butler on that throw.
He got the hard part out of the way.
Yeah.
The backhand stab and then just threw it in the dirt. And pretty good play on the front end of this. The ball hit sharply in between hop. He's got time. Just a little three-quarter throw. Didn't get his arm up for a sinker to first, and Chad Tracy didn't have a chance. In between hop, tough play for a first baseman.
And as you can see on those couple of crow hops, Steve had plenty of time to make that throw.
And the hardest thing for me, and we talked about this in Florida, we'll probably talk about it some more during the season, going from shortstop or second to third base is your arm angle at short, your arm angle at second. You could throw three-quarters. But when you get to third base, the longer the throw, the more the ball has time to sink. So you really got to fight, especially when you're going to your right, you're going to the line side, you're going toward foul territory. That, when as a third baseman, you really got to fight to get on top.
Yeah.
Get that release point where you're straight over the top, almost like an outfielder. Then you get the good rotation on the baseball, and it stays true all the way across the diamond. But if you throw it three-quarter from that far away, it's going to be like a nasty two-seam fastball and kind of run into the runner. And you saw that right there with Lombardozzi.
Repko, the hitter, tough guy to double up. Couple of breaking balls for strikes.
Man, this is what I'm talking about. Whenever you go to that side, and this is a great shot, guys. Nice job with the slow motion replay. He's picking up his target. He's in a good position right here, but if you look at the release point, see, kind of three-quarters down there, kind of choked it off a little bit. Then you're going to get that two-seam sink, and it's not going to stay elevated. The ball is going to actually go down instead of stay true and stay up.
Well, you see some late swings against this guy.
I used to joke all the time, different day, different arm angle, but as a utility player, that's what it is. Second base, you can be a little more sidearms because you're close. Shortstop, you can be three-quarters. Third base, especially when you're going to your right, you got to be on top. And in the outfield, you got to be right over the top to get that four-seam rotation on the ball so it stays straight.
0-2 now. Rodriguez, a couple of breaking balls and then a heater. He goes with the gas, and that's a good swing, and that will put the Red Sox on top as Repko finds the right field corner. Butler scores. Punto held. It's 8-7 Boston.
Pretty good swing right here by Jason Repko. Not a bad pitch. Just missed his spot barely, but threw it on the outer half of the plate, dropped the bat head on it, didn't try to do too much. And Brett Carroll initially thought he had a beat on that ball, realized he got too close to it, and the ball goes all the way to the wall.
And by the way, it took a while, but that previous play was ruled an error on Lombardozzi. So runners at second and third, one out for Daniel Nava, who took a mighty swing last time and homered straightaway center field. Nationals play the infield in. Outfield can't cheat too much because of this guy's pop. Changeup, a beauty. Red Sox have now out-hit the Nationals 11-7. And that fastball blown by the lefty.
Henry usually goes fastball change to lefties, but this might be a good time to bust out that hard slider. Runner on third base, less than 2. You got to have a lot of confidence in Wilson Ramos to throw that pitch. Henry has been known to bounce that slider, but it is hard to pick up as a hitter. We saw a lot of guys swing through that, and you need a strikeout like he does in this situation. Might be a good pick.
Fastball he tried to paint and just missed. Lined it right to Nady. The runner holding. Xavier will fly it home. 2 outs. That was Rodriguez getting an out with the breaking ball there. And here at Nationals Park, good crowd on hand. No official announcement. We think it's somewhere in the area of 25, 27,000 or so today. And it'll be Kelly Shoppach, who's now the DH, batted for David Ortiz last inning and had a base hit. Shoppach, Tampa Bay, 87 games with 11 homers and 22 RBIs, a 1-to-2 home run to RBI ratio. Front door breaking ball. Wow.
He backed up on it a little bit, got the call.
This guy can do something, some things with that live arm.
Usually breaks down in the way. That one backed up. Nice frame by Wilson Ramos to get the call.
Shoppach will just kind of turn his shoulder on that one and take it on the arm. Bases loaded. Well, the error hurt, and it's turned into a long inning for Henry Rodriguez as he now takes on the third baseman Nate Spears. The run is earned this inning no matter what happens because of the sacrifice by the pinch hitter, he. And the 0-1 pitch. High 90s. Scoreboard says 98.
Yeah, just a challenge fastball by him. And you don't know what Henry's doing out there today as far as working on pitches. You saw 3 sliders in a row to the previous batter. You don't know, if he's just trying to do things today that he might not do in the season, but I would figure that human nature kicks in after a while and you want to get out of the inning and stop working on things. I mean, there comes a time when you do work on things as a pitcher. You want to check a few boxes, throw a few good changeups, throw a few good sliders, make sure your fastball has zip. But when you get in the heat of battle and there's runners out there and they start scoring, you just revert back to, okay,
lab work's over.
Yep.
And a 1-2 that bounces, smothered by Ramos. Counts even 2-2. Third base, Punto, who reached on the error. Second base, Repko, who doubled in the run. And first base, Shoppach, hit by a pitch with 2 outs. Two in there. There's that devastating changeup. Now that is an overpowering changeup. Sox have the lead into the 9th. Bottom coming up. April 3rd, we arrive at the bottom of the 9th inning. Ramos, Bernardina, and Desmond scheduled in a wild game that was actually anything but wild for the first 3 innings. All the pitchers doing the job, Jackson and Buchholz, and here's Corey Spoon, a Baltimore guy who will take over. Originally taken by San Diego in 04, didn't sign. Then the O's took him in the 8th round out of Northeast Senior High School in Maryland and Catonsville Community College. So a bit of a homecoming for him.
And a chance to get a save.
Red Sox got him as a minor league free agent November 21st. Let's see, in the spring, 3 games, 3 innings, 6 hits, a run, 2 strikeouts, a walk. Nats need 1 to tie.
I'm just over games that don't count. I really am. You get up to Chicago and play games that matter.
Yeah. Well, you've already come north, so you're halfway home.
No, it's nice to be in the ballpark again. Nice to see everybody. The field looks gorgeous. The stadium looks beautiful. It's had a good atmosphere today, but it still doesn't count. These games don't mean anything. I'm ready for some games that mean something. I guarantee if you talk to all those guys in the Nats dugout, even the Red Sox dugout, they're ready to play some real baseball games.
John Turnauer, by the way, and his crew, a brand new field installed here at Nationals Park over the winter.
New grass, new warning track. The warning track is supposed to be softer than last year's warning track, actually hoping to keep balls in the ballpark more than one hop ground rule doubles.
Yeah, okay.
It's softer. It's crushed brick. I think that's what they told me. And how about the grass? I mean, does anybody do a better job? Yeah. This place looks like Augusta when you walk in. It's a beautiful playing surface. Great ballpark. It's a good shot of the grass. And the crushed brick. Nice job.
Close-up grass cam. A new feature here on MASN HD this year. And on rainy nights, we'll have drainage cam.
How much did they fix that?
You know this thing's going to drain tremendously. 1-2 to Ramos, and he is moved back by that fastball. Big day for Wilson. 2 for 3, 3-run homer in the 5th, RBI single in the 7th. And a breaking ball taken in the dirt. Counts full.
That can't be cheap, by the way. To redo a whole field. I mean, you just go buy some sod for your backyard. It is not cheap.
Yeah, times that by about 100,000 for the area these guys have to cover. Ramos stays alive. We have noticed that across the third base side, over across Capitol Street, there are cranes in the air. Media reports have a building boom about to take place in this part of D.C. That's a booming bat, but he hit it right at Nava in right field. So a real good day swinging the bat for Ramos.
I mean, I'm sure he's going to like the home run in the red seats, the base hit to left, but for me and what we've seen from Wilson Ramos, when he's hitting the ball like that to right field, right where he wants to be. It's a good AB right there, maybe the best of the day for him.
Next up, Roger Bernardina. On the corner. And Roger will take that one further out. 2 balls, 1 strike. Bernardina today, 0 for 2, a sacrifice bunt in the 7th that set up a bases loaded situation. And he'll try to fight that one off, but pop it over to the left side for Siriaco. 2 down. If it holds up like this, the Red Sox will end up with a spring record of 16-11 with 4 ties. And the Nats would be 12-17 with 3 ties. But there's still a tie sitting out there with 1 out to go. Here's Desmond, 0 for 2 with a homer. Pardon me, 1 for 3 with a homer and a walk.
Can't root for a tie.
Well, you know, some fans are with you, win or tie. Nice crowd today here, 30,568. They have been entertained. Desmond goes spinning away.
Just get this at bat over with, get on the plane. You start seeing your starting shortstop and leadoff hitter almost get drilled.
And a breaking ball, spins in low, ball 2. Desmond takes a fastball that misses.
Well, if he throws that same pitch he just threw 3-0, 3-1, we might be tied.
We might be tied. Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. Danny Espinosa next if Desmond gets on. Ian Desmond walks twice today. And they just stopped the presses at the Washington Post and the Times.
He's going to walk.
I like it.
He's just not looking for walks. And sometimes leadoff hitters actually do that. They go deep into counts, try to see a lot of pitches. But he's going to be aggressive variety of a leadoff hitter, and I like it.
Danny Espinosa walked a run in last time. He's 0 for 3. Danny takes one way upstairs.
Well, he's hit home runs the last 2 games.
Yes, he has.
Why not?
Didn't have an RBI until those 2 swings this spring. Red Sox 8, Nationals 7, bottom of the 9th with a runner aboard, 2 out. That's ball 2. Red Sox don't have anybody warming up.
But they still have guys down there.
I think I saw Jerry Remy and Don Orsillo with uniforms out there. I think it's a decoy. They're here, but not televising today. Great to see Jerry Remy. Told me he's feeling good. And then we'll see them in June when the Nats visit Fenway for the 2nd time in their history. 2-1 to Danny Espinosa. Runner goes, ball 3. Throw behind the runner, and Desmond swipes it, tying runs in scoring position. Ian Desmond's 2nd steal of the spring.
And we talked about it in spring training with Ian Desmond and a lot of base stealers. You kind of wait till the end of camp to get locked in. Stealing bases is a rhythm. You don't want to steal too many bases early in camp. You kind of got to gear up just like the rest of the guys did, like the pitchers. You want to peak at the right time, but stolen bases are part of it. Pretty good jump.
3 balls and a strike. 8-7 game. Espinosa rips one up the middle. And this game will be tied if Desmond can get home. Strong throw. He is out. And the game is over. Jason Repko throwing a bullet home.
What a great throw by Repko to even make it that close. I thought Desmond was safe. I think that's a time to go home call by the home plate umpire, but a great throw by Repko to even make it that close. Wow, that was a cannon. Got rid of it quick. Desmond had a great jump on it. The ball was hit pretty hard by Espinoza. One-hop seed. Tough to tell from that angle. We'll see right here. Did he get his foot in? Might have been blocked. It might have been the right call. Check it out right here. This will tell the story. Did he get his foot in there?
Tough to tell.
Tough to tell.
Great job, though, by the catcher, Daniel Butler, of making it look like it wasn't out. Davey Johnson waves over to Bobby Valentine, and that's how the spring training segment of 2012 ends, with the Red Sox holding on 3 hours and 8 minutes to win it 8-7. For FP and for Christina, Bob Carpenter. Red Sox head for Detroit, the Nats head for Chicago. Join us Thursday from Wrigley Field. Nats Extra with Johnny and Ray at 1:30. This has been a presentation of Masson, and we will see you from Wrigley Field. Thanks for joining us. Spring training's over. All right, time to get it done for real in 48 hours.